Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the week's first Midnight Edge in the morning on a Monday. And I am joined today, not yet by Tom, although I'm pretty sure he'll be joining us soon enough. But until then, I'm joined by my two very good friends and excellent co-hosts in First Culture Casino. How are you, my friend?
Greetings. I'm wonderful. Today started off with a bang, and I'm glad to be here. And I'm glad for some good news in entertainment, some stuff I really think I'm going to enjoy. So, going to be a good day. Going to be a good day.
Absolutely. And we're also joined by our producer, who's producing for all of your favorite channels. It's a pleasure to have you here. Welcome, Mike, the Mexican Iron Man.
Thanks, my brother. It is an honor and pleasure, as always, to be here. And it's Monday morning. It's just... there's two Toms. Wait.
Yeah, there's two Toms. There he
is.
Yeah. Or
morning, Tom.
Andres.
I have no idea what's going on with either my computer or StreamYard, but I'm here.
Yes, that's the most important thing. But anyway, Mike, continue. How are you?
Oh, no, all's good. All's good. It's been fun and interesting. I've been in the trenches of the battle. Been rooting on my boy Tom in the Twitter wars. And hashtag diversity and inclusion. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Goddamn Twitter. Yeah, sorry about that.
Are you still sick, bro?
No, this is round 2. I recovered in between, but then it was like round 2. So yeah, good times. But Tom, how about yourself? Other than like the obvious computer and StreamYard things.
Oh, I'm hanging in there.
How's Twitter these days?
Oh, you finally looked?
Nah, I can't be asked to look into stuff like that. Like people, that's like the funny thing. I find like afterwards, like 3 weeks, that someone called me out on Twitter. Yeah, okay, fine. See how much I care. So yeah.
Oh, it's been a riot. It's still going.
Speaking of riot, something else is that is a riot is that it's Spider Unlimited's birthday. So happy birthday, Spider Unlimited! And I know that because he says for $49.99.
Wow.
Thank you. It should be the other way around actually, but we're grateful. And he says, incredibly thankful for Midnight's Edge on my birthday. Because of you all, I finished multiple scripts, shot a short film, made a life-changing move, and found love. I am forever thankful for you all and the community for making it all possible. Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Wow.
That's amazing. And if we in any way, shape, or form have participated in that, then that's incredible. And I'm so appreciative that anything we have done can have had that kind of positive impact, however indirectly. Really happy about all the positive, life-changing moves you've done there. So happy birthday, Spider Unlimited. I do believe I say that on behalf of everyone else in the chat as well.
Yep. Happy birthday. That's awesome. And you know what? We may be critical of a lot of stuff, but having spent so much time with Culture and Tom and Andre, we are fundamentally very positive people, and we want the best, and we want the best for all of us. Congrats on becoming a creator, brother. Good job, Spider.
Wow, it's awesome. Wow, that's humbling to hear that. You know, and again, happy birthday to you. Absolutely, I said it in the chat, but absolutely, happy birthday indeed. Wow.
Yes,
I didn't even know we were live. How long have we been live?
Ever since you came.
Oh, what the? Nobody told me. I'm sitting here thinking we're just talking.
No, we're live. Oh, God.
Like, where's the intro and shit? Like, this is.
No, we ran that before you came.
We ran the intro tape. We did the doon. We did that.
Yeah.
Didn't even know we were live all this time.
Just say hi to everybody.
I didn't see that it was live until just a minute or two ago.
Here, touch me right here on the shoulder.
That I'm really grateful I didn't say anything worse other than Twitter.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's Monday, everyone. What can one say? I believe Garfield disliked Mondays for a reason, and Tom is probably in the same boat.
I would have been a little bit more upper energy than that, obviously. I just thought we were just saying hello.
Yeah, we were. To the almost 500 watching. So smash that like, everyone, for technical difficulties on the Monday morning.
Oh,
hashtag blame Mexican Iron Man, Tom.
Well, honestly, I don't know. I was surprised I didn't wake up to being fired after taking Twitter to task, but yeah.
No, you did a really good video yesterday. You guys were great. That was an awesome. Hey, if anybody in the chat stream hasn't seen the video that got released yesterday, go check it out. It's really good.
Yeah, do check it out because not everyone is getting notifications. So check out the most recent analysis on what's going on with the new head of Disney. But we spoke about that on Friday. We spoke about that in the video. We'll address it again if you guys want to in the super chat. But the main topics for today are, first and foremost, some familiar faces will be coming to MCU from Netflix. These are awesome news. And if you've been paying attention to Midnight Edge in the morning, this should come as no surprise because we have been saying this for the past year and a half. And when I say that we cannot take credit for the scoop, that all belongs to Mikey Sutton. We have only been forwarding his reports that this was happening. So many of you have heard before that we have said that, oh yeah, Charlie Cox, he's a lock for the MCU. He's definitely coming back. And so are many of the others. But we will go into more details about that when we get to it. Then we are also talking about the most recent Star Wars debacle, and this one isn't about the movies or anything per se, but rather the Galactic StarCruiser Hotel. Even more specifically, the commercial video for it that they uploaded and quickly took down again because it was cringe AF. So yeah, good times. We'll be talking about that and prices and what kind of tourist Disney seems to want. So, yeah, we have a great show for you today. Those are the two main stories, and we'll see what else appears as we go live, because in my experience, something always does. Before that, though, we have to greet our lovely audience that is listening. Right, Tom?
Like, evidently, I had no idea. Didn't know we were live.
At the end of Fallout, Do is here. Natasha, head of Wrenches, is here. Lindsay, the cynical geek, is here. Cosmic Squirrel is here. Nancy Hickman is here. Gran Wasu 42 is here. Sander Hammerschlag is here. Mr. 19 is here. Liger fan says, "Hail chat." Yeah, Ligers are cute little kitties, aren't they? And Waddle D's Nuts, of course, is here. So, yeah, it's always fun to say that name. And Max Mercer pointed out, well, 2 Andres just when Tom came in. And we have Joachim Stark is here, representing Sweden. Pat S is here. Keely Chow is here. And we have a couple of more super chats we're going to go through before we get into the first main story about the MCU here. Now, if you just forgive me, because I have to scroll through it, because although we now can go back, we still don't have that repository that would have been most helpful with everything in one tidy order, so we'll just do what we can. Doris Munchausen started us out today with a $1.49 super sticker, so thank you so much for that. Sander Hammerschlag also says, "Hi Andre, hi Mexican Iron Man, and hi Culture Casino." I'm sure that he'd add "Hi Tom" the moment that you showed up. Oh yeah, exactly. There we go. Hi Tom. I knew he would. Then we have Spider Unlimited, so happy birthday to you. And then we have Deleted Scenes, who says, "Hail Andre, Tom, Mike, Culture, Mods, and Chat. $6,000 for 45 hours on a bunk bed is why no one likes Star Wars anymore. Also, F Twitter." So yeah, Tom, I guess you have someone sympathizing here, and yeah, $6,000 for the Star Wars experience. We'll talk about a little bit later on, but to me, that seems like a very good way of getting rid of the traditional Disney park audience.
They're doing a bang up job of it, and you know what? No, at this point, I mean, I've been saying it for a while, but that is part of the plan, is to price the plebes, the plebs, however you want to say it, but to get rid of common folk. The once in a lifetime vacation is going to be incredibly expensive. And then if you try to do this on top of that, if you don't think they're aiming for just the 1%, you aren't paying attention. So it's been,
they want to select clientele.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. They don't want a park full of yoga pants and offensive t-shirts and stuff.
By the looks of this thing, you better not have a family member or a member of your party that is handicapped, because it doesn't look like they'll be able to enjoy much of this.
Maybe this is the Wall Street Club redesigning Disney parks for themselves. They want
much
less people in the parks. And now when you have
and Tom
two people in the Wall Street Club running the show.
Yeah. I mean, Tom brought up a really interesting point, because that one of the things that was always great about Disneyland experience is that people of all backgrounds, languages, abilities, ages, always had something special to enjoy, and everybody came for a magical experience and left with a wonderful experience back in the day.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
I mean, I don't know for sure. It could be accessible, but it's sure. I mean, just going by the video, all I know is if I was somebody who was bound to a wheelchair, it doesn't look like I'd have a lot of fun in this place.
No, there's a lot of ableist design in it, to be honest with you. But
don't be using words like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. What would you
scare me, culture?
Well, I'm sorry. I apologize. But no, but no, honestly, I mean, there's a lot of stuff, and perhaps they have experiences for people who are differently abled. Is that better, Tom? But
I was picking on you, culture.
I know that. I know that's. I'm poking back anyway.
Culture. That's called a reverse compliment.
Yeah, and also, did you not see like the South Park special? I mean, that's how the future is like. Everyone has to be super sensitive at everything always, and comedy is dead.
Oh well, no, I'm trying to have comedy, but anyway, but like I said, I mean, this thing, this is a travesty. I knew it was going to be from the beginning. I'm like, this thing is going to have to be crazy expensive if you have less than 100 guest rooms, that are available for people to be in this one location with this supposedly epic level of immersion. This is the same level of immersion that they promised for the Galaxy's Edge Park expansion itself. So what are you going to actually get? You're going to line up a lightsaber with a light that's coming out of a wall. That's your lightsaber training.
Well, since we're talking about this, like I meant to do this afterwards, let's turn around and do this now.
Yeah.
I have a question, and this is both for you in the panel, as well as everyone in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So, as for me, fine. I'm not a huge fan of Star Wars per se, but I am a great big fan of both Star Trek, at least traditionally, not so much anymore, and certainly Spaceballs.
Right.
If someone were like offering the Spaceball experience, where you get to be on Spaceball 1 and visit the zoo and the mall and everything like that for 2 hours, I wouldn't go, because I don't appreciate that kind of fakery. I would go to the Jaws ride. Actually, I did go to the Jaws ride.
Yeah.
In Universal Studios. I would go to the Harry Potter world and everything like that, because It's very clearly a replica, something that's made to be like a sample. But beyond that, like what they're trying to do here, to me at least, it's just like it's 4D Uncanny Valley. I mean, I wouldn't want to go onto like a set and try to convince myself that this is the real thing with a bunch of other tourists. Am I weird, or is it really like this huge market for this kind of experience?
No, you're exactly right. I mean, I have a few analogies to throw at you. One of them is like, it's almost like you remember when you're kids, you take your kids to those crappy playgrounds, and instead of an actual like wheel they can go around or swings, they just have those fake little levers with buttons they can push, or you know, it's like this is the same thing for grown-ups, which is, guess what, lame, right? Mm-hmm. Which is lame. And then second of all is that you go for an experience and what's called immersive experience.
Mm-hmm.
They are missing the mark so bad here. It is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I've got a VR set on my desktop computer. Some of the things that I've been able to see and do on my VR set, hell, I can watch YouTube on my VR set. I can do work on my VR set. I mean, I can, and then there's the video games aspect of it.
Yeah,
they are so missing the mark with this. Like in terms of whoever their Imagineer is, and if that lady's the head of this department, she's insane. They are just missing the mark. It's who was it? Was it Yellow Flash on his video or someone? I don't want to get this wrong, but somebody, maybe it was Yellow Flash on one of his videos, talked about how when you go to say Universal and the Avatar experience, and it's what you were talking about, Andre. I think it was Yellow Flash talks about how he's not a huge fan of Avatar. I hope I get this right. I hope it was Yellow Flash that said this, but you go and you have one hell of an immersive experience. Well, the same thing's true for a lot of the other rides that have been at Disney for a long time. I mean, even the Mars Adventure, or the shrinking one that had, even though as sort of sketchy as the technology may have been towards the end of those rides' tenure, it still felt like an immersive experience. This thing right here is like, okay, walk around. And by the way, and the set looks like crap, Andre. It looks literally, it's like a bad version of Space 1999 from the early 70s. I mean, there's absolutely zero sophistication here.
Yeah, and like with me, I've been to a couple of conventions in my time, not too many, but I've been to a couple, and the worst ones I've been to have been the pure Star Trek conventions. Like I go there for the guest and to have like some posters and Blu-ray covers and stuff like that signed. That's all cool. And then they have like this bar where they have completely ordinary drinks, but they give them these cutesy names like Romulan Ale and stuff. Like I don't even like that. Again, maybe I'm weird in that way, but I just don't see the appeal of something like this. Like I wouldn't go for this thing if it was free, and then you have to pay $6,000 for.
Yeah, and by the way, I got corrected by Matthew. It's Pandora at Disney's Animal Kingdom, which was put together with James Cameron.
Yeah, they worked with Lightstorm Entertainment on the design. Yeah, that particular expansion is an immersive experience. Everything there is oriented around that world. So you walk into it, you feel like you've stepped out and into a different location, and except for the obviously in the summer oppressive heat that you get in Florida, but for the most part, it's beautiful, and that every single detail is there. A master Imagineer and Joe Rohde helped design that with Lightforce Entertainment. Lightstorm Entertainment. So there was major input from Cameron and his business partner. So that it lined up with everything. They had input on the attractions that were there. I'm sure they would rather have the third attraction that was planned for that location that didn't get built, but there was a lot to it. And that expansion was a little over $1 billion, right? And they spent $1 billion in Florida and $1 billion in California for the Star Wars thing. And it didn't even rise up to the level of the Star Trek experience that you could do at the Hilton in Vegas 15 years ago. So it was very disappointing, and they deviated. And this is where Andre, I think, was on the mark. They deviated from giving you the experience that was supported by 40 years of film prior to the Disney trilogy. They gave you someplace that didn't exist, that wasn't represented in the film universe at all, with a bunch of new characters that were largely rejected by the time these park expansions opened.
And so the funny thing was the argumentation that Kathleen Kennedy used. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but just to throw that in, because what she said, I remember this very well, because it was like so mind-boggling to me that she was like, well, we have to make a park that's not like the Star Wars that people used to know, but the Star Wars that people will love for the decades to come.
Yeah.
Which brings up to,
she had made like a distinction between the two and already decided that in her mind, audiences were ready to let go of what made them fans in the first place and go with this new, unknown, safer thing that she was making.
Yeah,
right.
wrong.
And I think when you watch the commercial, you get the vibe that this is going to be Star Wars, the crappy short musical.
Yeah,
I mean,
and she was incredibly wrong. I mean, I think that's what we can all agree on, right, Mike?
I would say she was wrong, number one, and they lied, number two. And this is a company that lies over and over again. See, if anyone that actually believes this commercial that you're going to get an experience, it's not going to happen. And what is my evidence to cite that? Look at how much they spent, going back to what Culture said. Look how much the money they spent on Galaxy's Edge. Now, 3 years ago in 2018, when Doomcock got, was gained shit on for saying that wasn't a success and it wasn't all that cracked up to be, I took a camera and I went in there and I interviewed people that work there. The video's still up on Doomcock's channel.
Disneyland, yeah.
At Disneyland. I'm sorry, yeah. Disneyland on Galaxy's Edge. And the promises weren't met. There was no music. There was no immersive experience. And this is going to be the same thing. It's going to be vanilla light, and it's going to be crappy, and it's going to be awful. I mean, and here's the thing: is like if they weren't, I don't know who's running this thing, but whoever's running the PR for this thing better be careful because, I understand that they want to go for people that have this kind of cash, and there's a lot of them around the world. But once they do this thing, especially if it's a bad thing, they're not going to do it again. I mean. Do they, that's the thing with Hollywood people. They don't understand that people that actually make money and spend money on expensive stuff. All right, yeah, maybe you want to do something, but you want it to be good. You don't buy a Mercedes for it to like crack down after 20,000 miles, for example.
But are these Hollywood people though? Or are they other like park people or Wall Street people? Before that, though, at the end, Falardo points out $6,000 is for a weekday. Not a weekend. Also, it gets even worse, though.
Oh!
And others also pointed out just how much money or just how much you can get elsewhere for that kind of sum. And I agree with that completely.
Andre, is it safe to say that...
I've taken like week trips from Norway to the US for that freaking amount.
I did a Panama cruise for 2 people for 13 days for $6,000 in a very nice patio sliding glass door room. I got multiple countries, ports of call, like a legitimate $6,000.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable.
Well, I definitely don't think we should have our Midnight's Edge proposed fandom meetup there at this hotel.
No, I don't think so either. I think that we will find many other awesome places in Florida that is not right there within the Disney World, or certainly not the Star Wars Galaxy Cruiser Hotel. I don't think that's our first choice of hotel. I think we'll find something better than that. Or if not better, certainly something cheaper. And did any of you guys see that cringe trailer that Disney took down?
Oh yeah, I've seen it multiple times.
Because just to get into that for a little bit here, Tom, can you share it on screen? I'm going to send you the Screen Rant article. I don't think that we should be showing the full trailer in itself because I anticipate a copyright strike if we do. But if you can bring this article talking about it up on screen, well, that would be most helpful.
You got it, Tom? If not, I can share it.
There we go.
Perfect. So yeah, because Disney, they put up this trailer for the experience that they put up on their YouTube channel and on Twitter. And it is this really unbelievably cringe thing with this kid from the Goldbergs or something like that we're supposed to have heard about, meeting this woman who is an Imagineer, I think, or like the head of the of this thing. I didn't quite catch her title, but she's like some head honcho responsible for this mess. And she basically takes him on a tour of the premises and the amazing thing that you can get for your $6,000 a night. Basically going through the set of like a Star Destroyer or whatever the heck that thing is. And he goes off on his own, and then suddenly he finds himself no longer in the world of Star Wars. He's gone into the world of The Fifth Element with the opera singer there. That's like entertaining the audience and everything. And then it's like back to the real world. And this must have gotten ratioed something fierce because Disney took it down, the whole thing. Maybe it was the producers behind The Fifth Element that sued or something. I don't know exactly what happened there. But anyway, this was taken down, but not before it was copied to a lot of places. And we all saw it. I would have liked to play it for you all here, for those that haven't seen it. But I'm worried that we'll get copyright struck if we do, so we don't. But guys, you saw it. What the hell were they thinking, putting this video up for one thing? And on that note, did you even feel remotely like going?
Go ahead, Culture.
Yeah, I was going to say, so originally when this was announced, and again, I had some insight into this way before it even was announced, but prior to it being announced, I was excited for it. I was also excited for Galaxy's Edge. When they were having massive delays during the construction of both of those projects on both coasts. And I started to get some of the details of why they were having those difficulties. I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. They're trying to have a lot of this, immersive tech, not just in the attractions, but throughout the expansion itself. So I was like, okay, waiting a little extra time, whatever, it's going to be fine. And of course, the first Galaxy's Edge opens up in California first, with only one attraction open, not both. Again, because of the construction difficulties they had with the larger attraction. And it was so subpar. It's so under-delivered. And then, of course, we had what happened, with the global crisis that we just are still experiencing, which kind of foiled some of the stuff that was going on in Florida and things like that. As both of these parks flushed themselves out, but they so under-delivered that even though they were talking about the StarCruiser Hotel specifically at the 2019 Disney Expo event, it was like I'm underwhelmed based on what I just saw walking through Disneyland as Mexican Iron Man did with a camera. I'm like, this is going to under-deliver. And it's going to feel empty and it's going to feel hollow. And it won't matter how many people you fill it up with. It's not this immersive experience that you anticipated. So I have a feeling that, despite the fact that there might be some droids that are driven by somebody with an RC controller, in the background with video camera driving this thing around, I don't expect it to be a whole lot more immersive than the parks, and the simple fact is, I mean, you're asking someone to suspend their disbelief for a stay here, with a lot of tricks that they've already seen in the attractions, and your mind dismisses that for a short period of time, but eventually you're going to be like, wow, this is a concrete box with video screens. And, I'm sleeping in, what was the dystopia movie where, it was fairly recent, where everybody's wearing white. It's like Oasis Island or something. I don't know. Anyway.
The Island.
The Island.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's like that. I mean, that's your environment. You're sleeping in these. Somebody called.
Are you kidding? They had like whole huge suites for each person. This thing here is like microscopic tiny.
Well, it is. But see, again, they're trying to mimic the cruise experience. So you're literally put in a cabin that's basically stolen off the designs for like the Disney Wonder or Fantasy, one of their cruise ships, but it's just updated interior with a different sleeping arrangement and everything else. Again, it's essentially a land cruise that they're trying to convince you you're in space, and they do a decent job.
I just want to say I showed this on another show, but I went camera. I got 250-inch wide monitors just in one room of my home office studio. I mean, the little shitty ass monitors they have in their rooms are just ridiculous. I mean,
yeah. Well, and again, I mean, this is also in and of itself going to be full of upcharges. Which, if you're a Disney, if you have some history with Disney, let me put it in those terms, and you've been going to the parks for a long period of time, you've seen the erosion of value for your dollar.
Are you saying that food and drinks are not included?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there will be specialty events that you can pay additional for on this thing, which again, it's not all expenses paid as it's advertised or supposed to be. Like, you know, it's not in all you can, or whatever it is you get with a lot of these cruises or resorts. There are going to be upcharge events just like there are in the park. So like if you want to see the special Christmas parade, you know, in Disney World or Disneyland, you have to pay for a special event sometimes, or a party event, right? That's an upcharge. These things have been happening for going on the last decade, and under Iger, they just found more and more ways to do that. And then when Chapek came in, he expanded upon it because he's a retail-minded guy, and he's going to try to get every dollar out of every square foot, which is why they have been making some very, very poor decisions for the long term.
I think this year's one time where we don't want the accountants. Andre, I think this is one scenario where we don't want the accountants and the finance and the Wall Street guys to have control of the company. What do you think?
And exactly. Here's like the thing that there's never one universally right recipe. You need like the right people for the right time. Someone who's right at one point in history might not be right at another point in history. And some are just a dreadful fit always, no matter what. And that's what Wall Street people are in this particular instance.
Well, I mean, you guys brought it to everybody's, consciousness.
Culture, I got one more one. What about the requirement that you have to use only their apparel? You can't go in with your own unapproved Star Wars apparel. Did you read that?
No, I didn't. Wow.
Andrea love that.
That's insane. So for the people, like I would never, you would never find me cosplaying. But I know that there are loads of people that spend loads of time and energy into like their own cosplay equipment and stuff. So you're saying that if you bring this thing that you spent maybe tens or hundreds of hours of making, you'll be like, nope, get it off. You have to use our own, and here's pay us for the privilege and for our own subpar stuff, and you can throw yours in that dumpster fire over there.
As an example, I mean, this is a custom lightsaber here that I have from Saberforge, NeoPixel.
Nice.
And custom, I can't go in there. It's obviously
it's Dooku's, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's a Dooku inspired one. Nice. I'm very impressed, Andre.
I noticed a handle.
And this year when it's NeoPixel, so this thing here cost me like $780. I can't go in there with this because it's not a Disney approved.
That's insane.
Oh my god, unbelievable! I mean, do you think someone is going to switch it on and hurt someone with their own replicas?
Oh my god, their actual own replicas are probably more dangerous because they're heavy as hell and they're not very. I have the Galaxy's Edge ones. I have both the ones. I have the ones that I don't have very many. I don't buy Disney products, but I did buy the Ahsoka Tano lightsaber set because they stopped producing them and they're kind of a collector item a little bit and they have some value. And then when I went to Galaxy's Edge 3 years ago, I did the experience where you get to build a lightsaber. Which by the way, the build a lightsaber experience was great. The actual lightsaber I got effing sucks. Like it's got AAA batteries in it, and the damn thing powers down. Even when you turn it off, the damn thing powers itself off, and the batteries drain out and die.
And it'll wake you up in the middle of the night, telling you that the batteries are running out, even though you haven't turned it on. And
right, you know what else? And here's the other thing too, Culture. Have you had this experience? I have an LED remote control in my bedroom for a light. I've hit that button, and the damn lightsaber goes like it's really weird. I don't know how it does that.
Well, I mean, some of the
that doesn't sound healthy. It must be like some kind of interaction with other electrical equipment, and I would not appreciate that.
But it was designed that way. See, this is the thing. You were supposed to have the ability to have immersive interactions, much like the Harry Potter wands that you would have in Universal. So those lightsabers were designed with some features, or some of them were, where you were going to be able to have an interactive experience.
Yeah. Well, the experience was great. I don't know if it was worth the money I paid for it to do it, but and even that, I felt bad when I did it at the time because I'm right next to this family. I don't know if I ever talked about this even on the Doom Cook thing. I'm right next to this family, and it's mom, dad, and they got 3 kids. And I could kind of tell that well, I don't know if one of them's adopted or one of them was a friend or what, but they only had money for what, and I heard them talking like, well, we can probably only do 1 or 2 of these. So, so to watch this family not have enough money so each of the kids could have the experience, like I just looked over to them and like if I wasn't already in, I probably would have like paid for one of them to do it because it was just heartbreaking. Like, these little, they bring the kids and they don't know. I don't think anyone had any idea how much it cost, because it was, things were so new. And so to watch the 3 of them come in with these 2 adults and the 2 adults kind of whispering to us, like, oh, can we do 2? Well, I think we can do 2. We definitely can do 1. Maybe we should do 2. And I was just like, oh my God, this freaking sucks. So basically one of the kids did it. And then the other 2 kids got, they kind of split the experience. The one started it, one finished it, and then the other kid got to carry it out on the way out.
Heartbreaking.
Dude, it's freaking heartbreaking, bro.
It is.
I'm like, seriously, and I'm feeling like shit. I mean, I got a date. I'm with, I brought a date with me to Disneyland. We're having this, great day. And I'm looking over here, watch this happen. And I looked at her, I said, you see what's happening? She's like, this sucks. I'm like, this totally sucks. You juxtapose that experience, Mike, into what happens at Universal for their wand experience, right? They pick 2 kids. They do they do the wand picks you thing where the boxes magically like show up and get illuminated, and it's kind of a neat little show. And they guarantee probably that those sets of parents will likely get those wands for their kids, but there's no pressure. Everybody else that's in that wand selection room then has the option as they exit out through the wand shop itself. I mean, we exit through the gift shop, right? You can elect to buy one. It's way lower pressure on them, right?
That was good because when I was in the US the last time, we went to like that Harry Potter thing and saw that one show, and that was good. That was really good. Like you'd think that Disneyland would know how to learn from Universal, that it should be the other way around. But really, my reading of the situation is that Universal owns this.
Yeah.
Before we move on, we have a couple of both super chats, and we are going to get through every single one of them. We always do, even if we don't get to it right away. We will get through every single super chat in the end. But just because I have them on screen in front of me, I want to highlight these 2 ordinary comments. John Riley says, related, according to a study by the Disney Dish podcast, Disney cruises are 3 times the price of a normal cruise, regardless of destination. Yeah, I think I'll take a normal cruise. Thank you very much. If I had the option. And Rogue Disney says, do you think they have been putting LARPing in the Marvel show to prep people for the Star Wars hotel? Now, I take it that the Marvel show is also something in Disney parks. You guys know anything about this? And the LARPing experience that either is or isn't there?
I can't speak to that. I mean, specifically, what that called to my mind is that the Miss Marvel show with her cosplaying is, like an Avenger before she actually is awarded her costume. That's our expectation of what that show is going to be. But that would be that. I mean, there is at Disneyland, there is a small show in their Marvel campus area with Spider-Man and some stuff like that and some interactivity, maybe to some extent. I don't know. That hasn't come across my radar, so I wouldn't be able to talk about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
No, all right. Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's quite all right. And then some super chats. Thomas Plummer says for $5, Twitter makes Mos Eisley look like Disneyland. Funny you should mention that. I believe that they are in the same place now, aren't they? Or was that one of the replicas, like the one that's there right now? That's not Mos Eisley, is it? Or has it been made that now after a retrofit?
That's not Mos Eisley's. They desperately need to go back to the original design concept. Unfortunately, in Florida, they can't go back to the original idea for the layout, where it would have made a lot more sense to incorporate Star Tours and have everything laid out the way they were originally going to go. Don't even get me started. The original plan for that entire area was way better than what we ended up with, and it included a space for Cars Land, Radiator Springs to be built as well. So you would have ended up with a great deal more and a better use of the land. So it is what it is.
Thank you, Kathleen Kennedy, for micromanaging. And the Troy Pacelli says for $5, hail Midnight's Edge panel. You guys are all awesome. Tom, keep fighting the fight. It's fun to watch. But guard your own sanity. Yeah, everyone should on Twitter. Like, don't let it get to you. I mean, it's not real life, but it becomes.
Well, that's the beauty of it. It's not getting to me. That's the thing that I don't think
exactly.
People understand.
Tom's having fun with this.
This just feeds me, right? Like it's fuel to the fire for me. Like that's what they don't get. And that's what it just makes me sit back and chew.
Well, if that means that you need less sleep and can make more videos, I'm not complaining.
Whoa. He didn't say that. Hold on, Andre. Got to protect my brother. Hold on. Whoa.
Look, I think I handled it pretty goddamn well. I gave 2 free passes away.
Dude, you are freaking epic.
3 versions of it away, which I want to thank Mike Joseph for helping me with that. And not only that, it's like, whatever. You don't like my opinion? Sorry, not sorry. I mean, what am I supposed to say? I'm not looking for anybody's validation. All these idiots came to my Twitter. It's not like I'm out there going around everybody else's Twitter who are celebrating. I don't give a shit if you like Spider-Verse. I don't care if you like Miles Morales. It's not my problem. But I'm not coming to their Twitter and starting shit. All these people are coming to my Twitter. So it's like, all right, you want to come into my backyard and play?
Exactly. Here's the funny part, Tom. I like it when they come at you and then you shut them down, and then one of their buddies comes to try to back them up, and then you shut that one down. It's like they keep coming in waves, and Tom's just like he's sitting on the mountaintop, like
it's like they got flashcards in front of them, right? And I shit you not, this is how it goes. It goes, you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're a transphobe. Peter Parker is not going to fuck you. I shit you not. That is the 4 levels of this. It goes in that order. That's exactly it.
Yeah, Tom's not a fan, and he's mad because he's not going to get laid by Miles Morales. That's the news.
Peter Parker, get it right.
Or Peter Parker, whatever.
Yeah, no, he'd probably reject Miles Morales even if offered. So
honestly, I wouldn't have a problem with Miles Morales if he had his own name, suit, powers. He wasn't completely redundant of Spider-Man.
Yeah. No, because your point was that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, Miles Morales is Miles Morales, right?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's unfair. And moving on with the super chats, Ben Wade, the nice gunslinger, says Eckhart Schladder had a very good review of the new Star Wars hotel. Nothing in it is really Star Wars-y. Okay, so he had a good review, or nothing in it was Star Wars-y. I would imagine that for something that's supposed to be Star Wars, the two would be mutually exclusive.
Looking at it from here, like if I didn't know that was Star Trek or Star Wars stuff behind them, I could just as easily have figured it was Star Trek or something.
I honestly thought it was Galaxy Quest.
That's what I mean. It has such a generic look to it that it doesn't even scream Star Wars in any way.
Yeah,
I think I have more Star Wars art and helmets and lightsabers in my one room than I would find in their lobby.
So they might as well have called it the Spaceballs Hotel, so no one would know the difference.
I know.
Oh, okay, well that's good to know. Infinity Flare says handicapped can pull the lever and push.
Oh,
buttons.
Okay.
Oh well, I'd say that depends on which level of spinal cord injury, but yeah, okay, I'm not arguing. And then we have Pilgrim Media, who says, M&E, I'm guessing Midnight's Edge, why is Disney ignoring obvious negative optics? This is a good question. Culture, why is Disney ignoring obvious negative optics?
Well, it's politically driven. Everything has to support the good investment strategy of ESG and similar things like that. It hasn't been for, I would say, going on 4 to 5 years now, hasn't been a primary focus for the company. The only optics they care about are the ones that support this, as Andre is calling them, the Wall Street crowd right now. Wall Street is running everything. There's no creative elements there anymore. They're constantly pushing out people that are associated with creativity, and I think the discussion around the Susan Arnold position recently, replacing Iger, having her replaced as a chairperson, is evidence of that. Further evidence of that. You have a retail mind in Chapek. You have a Wall Street person in Arnold, and they are going to live inside of the new concept of stakeholder capitalism and not shareholder capitalism. There you go.
Yeah,
it's a double-edged sword. I just want to add this in: is that on the one hand, we need the accountants to stop the woke, but accountants without creativity that's fan-driven or fan-considered is the risk we take for stopping the woke.
Well, but that's the problem is every single one of these people now, as they push out the older folks, I mean, that's the goal. I mean, they're doing it across the country now in all fields as they push out the older folks, encouraging them to quit using a myriad of different elements at their disposal. They bring in these youthful people that don't have the creativity, don't have the life experience, don't have the ethics, don't have any of these things to essentially go off of what they were taught in school. Or in a lot of people will use political terms like indoctrination and stuff like that. But and that's we're not going to get that. The accountants that you're going to get that try to persuade you that they're creative in any way from the younger folks that have just gone through school and are now in tremendous amounts of debt to get their MBAs and possibly doctorates. They've been taught one thing, and it's that, the world that you're growing up in is terrible. So, and they're reinforcing it. It's the same reason they're using older IPs like Star Wars and stuff like that to push these ideas. But I don't want to get too deeply into the politics. I feel bad. So,
Well, Culture, you are being a Mr. and Miss Negativity, and you know what? It's well deserved. It's well deserved, though.
Okay.
Yeah, here's like the thing that it's okay to be negativity when you're just being realistic and giving a fair appraisal of reality. And I can't really add anything to it. Tom, anything you want to add, or Mike?
No, that was well said.
I'm sick of Star Wars.
Yeah, and that's because of the same thing, because of the exact same thing. And then Benford Crenshaw says for $5, the last 3 times I went, I had to use a mobility scooter at Walt Disney World. Yeah. The Magic Kingdom is horrible, but Epcot and the studios are generally okay.
This is true.
Brilliant. Brilliant. And Marks47 wonders, Andre, what about Warp Core Breach drinks? Well, if there is one that's actually called that, I'd love to have one, but I expect minimum 60% alcohol content with that name. Minimum 60%. Anything less than that, and I'll be disappointed.
In Vegas at the Star Trek Experience thing that was in the Hilton Hotel, you could get drinks that would wreck you. It's terrible.
I'm from Norway, so I kind of doubt it. But
I know you would have enjoyed it. Let me put it that way.
Which is like for something called Warp Core Breach, it better have 60% alcohol content.
Brain melting, my friend. Brain melting. But no, I mean the only place to get good drinks, and let me tell you, the drinks in the cantina at the Galaxy's Edge thing, they're not worth your money nor your time. They don't taste good. They are not excellent. But
they look weird.
If you go to the Edison, which is in Disney Springs, that's a place to get lit up. And if you go to the Homecoming restaurant, also in Disney Springs, they serve moonshine based drinks that are out of this world. So there you go.
Okay, how is a drink moonshine based? Because my experience is that either it's moonshine or it isn't, and there's not so much in between.
They start with moonshine, and then they dress it up like a cocktail. They add things to it. So, yeah, they've got some moonshine stuff that's very, very good. But Edison does some great stuff.
Andre, you need to come down to South Carolina. We'll teach you how to do that right quick.
Yeah, no. Oh, I know. I'll bring some real Norwegian-made moonshine with me. Like, how about 96%? So yeah, we can use that as a mixer.
Okay, go visit Culture first, then come see.
Then Michael D. Falls says for $5, Star Trek Adventure at Universal Hollywood was very accurate back in the 90s. Was fun. Star Trek: The Experience Vegas Borg Invasion is number 1. I actually would have liked to try that. It's a shame that it wasn't there by the time I got to Vegas.
Yeah, and in both of these things that Michael's talking about here were great. I'm just gonna say, they were. I mean, and the Star Trek Experience thing fell off over time and got less fun. But these were immersive experiences. I mean, heck, Universal was building like immersive experiences even on their tram rides going back into the 70s and 80s. I mean, they had if you can actually find this on YouTube, you can actually find where they had Battlestar Galactica. You had Cylons fighting with humans on a tram, like on one of their tram tours, backlot tours. That experience itself was amazing, and that location's been reimagined many times over, which now I think that houses the new thing there in California, that is the Fast and the Furious experience now, which is absolutely horrible at Florida, but it's part of the tram tour, the studio tour in California, or at least it was. So anyway, that's a lot of useless information, not relevant.
Well, how much information in life really is relevant? So it's all fun and good, isn't it?
Very little.
And Shum says for $5, for an experience that's set to open on that would be 1st of March in 2022. I had to stop because the calendar is backwards in the US compared to everywhere else in the world. All we saw were 3 poorly lit areas with nothing else shown except for artist concept pictures. They better hurry up then, if that's all they have right now. I mean, it's starting to remind me of the Greek Olympics, for those that remember how that went down. Waddle These Nuts says for $4.99, more like cosmic kerfuffle. At this point, they should offer a robotic limb replacement, since it'll cost people an arm and a leg anyway. And honestly, I think that they should donate the money that they're wasting on that to research into advancing robotic limb replacements anyway. That would have been far better well spent.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's a brilliant joke. Very well done there. Very well crafted. Yeah.
Nice. Xenobit says for $5, I took a tour of Star Wars Galactic StarCruiser for a minute before I realized I was in a McDonald's. Well, at least they had good food.
Wow.
To the extent of which it can be called food, but tasty it was, just not so much afterwards. And T5 Jabroni says for $10, isn't the current state of the parks, failures of Galaxy's Edge, New Star Wars Hotel, Avengers Campus are under JPEG's watch? Was he not head of parks prior? He good for movies, but bad for parks. This is a good question. Now, you follow Disney much closer than I do. Is this JPEG's fault? Because I know that he came from the parks. And he's not well liked there. I know that. No. But is this on him?
To a certain extent, yes, it is. I mean, since the acquisition of the Star Wars IP, they had immediately started to look at ways of exploiting it in the parks more thoroughly than they had done before. They had been in partnership with George Lucas for a long, long time in various ways. And they were also in partnership with Spielberg. But this particular thing was headed in one direction initially under the Imagineers that were in charge of it. And there's books about this, and I'll get some titles out to people later if they're really interested. But you can actually look at how that kind of evolved. And then they were pretty well through most of the design elements and the concept and the story for the new expansions. It was literally under kind of like multiple people's purview. So Imagineering was taking the lead on this, and then they would get, feedback, kind of like you would for dailies or, notes on a film or television project. Every once in a while from Iger and, of course, Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy was showing rushes, dailies, whatever, to Iger with this new Force Awakens thing, saying we really need to head in this new direction and make this new part of these parks ours. Of course, I'm paraphrasing largely some conversations that have been made somewhat public over time, but it's that. That element was kind of mixed in there. Chapek, really, you could put the Star Wars Hotel and it's on him. You can definitely put Avengers Campus on him. You can, to a certain extent, put a little bit onto the Galaxy's Edge thing at the tail end, but for the most part, most of the decisions were being made, with a lot of input from Lucasfilm, which, under previous leadership like George and others, that made sense. Under the story group thing, not so much. But again, it's $1 billion or over $1 billion in two places. That's over $2 billion just in that, on top of the $4 billion plus that they paid for Star Wars. I think it's 4.1, 4.2, whatever it was, and then 4.4. I don't remember the number, but even amortized, they're nowhere close to profitable on any of this. But you can lay the failure of the current state of the parks on Chapek's doorstep with the essential havoc he created in Epcot without any follow through, cancellation of projects, the scaling back of certain things. So to a certain extent, all of that's correct. And to add to that, he's better for the film side of things and maybe even for the TV stuff, but we won't really know truly that until we see if there's a change in direction for the TV properties that are headed to Disney Plus. Because right now, with a 40% drop in viewership for Hawkeye and the scaling back of interest in a lot of other things that have come out, from Jungle Cruise to obviously Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and the most recent animated feature, Encanto. I would say that those are headed in the wrong direction. But again, that's going 3 years back, so it wasn't Chapek then. So we'll have to see.
Exactly, it'll take years before we see exactly what JPEG's contribution to the film and TV side is.
Yeah.
And parks, that's run by someone else now, so let's hope that they'll do better.
Josh started out as a fan favorite on the park side of things. Josh D'Amaro, he was very park guest centric. I had a pretty decent interaction with him personally a couple of times in the parks. He's a nice guy, but he's leaned real heavily into some of these, wanting to be in the club ideas, and the parks are suffering for it. So you're going to see fans become less and less excited about him as the head of parks, products, and experiences, because again, he's not being allowed to do anything. Cosmic Rewind attraction got pushed back. Ratatouille was delayed. Tron isn't opening. There's nothing really great for Magic Kingdom's 50th anniversary, which is this year. I mean, it started in October, and there's really nothing special.
The problem with what's happening with Disney as a company with these parks is that although they're the cash generating machines, the focus of the overall company, the corporation, you have a company that's focused first on Disney Plus, second on it trying to make as much money as it can with its properties, its Marvels, it's shitty ass license. Let me finish, Casino.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that you have a company who that doesn't understand what it needs to focus on, because the true cash that it generates is from that experience. It starts with the parks and then it goes out from that. Versus what's happening now is these morons here have a company that Iger completely retooled and went the wrong way. You got a bunch of charge cards, bought a bunch of stuff, and they're focused in the wrong place trying to make money. They're worrying about trying to go in and grab $6,000 in a couple of days on a weekday and trying to get us to subscribe to Disney Plus, when all they really need to do is give us a good park experience, and they'll make vast more cash in the same or less time.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And we're looking at, it's been kind of cyclical with Disney. We're looking back at the Miller days of the company before Eisner and Wells partnered up to give us like the resurgence, the new golden age of Disney, right? That particular period of time. And then of course, towards the end after Eisner lost his partner. And again, Disney's always run best. And I've been saying this for ever before I was even doing YouTube or just talking to family and friends. It's always run best when there are two people. You need a bean counter that is responsible on that side of the equation, and you need a creative who is actually the person that's in charge at the top. And those two people work out how to make it work between them so that everybody gets the best thing. And that works for not just the theme park side of things, but it works for the film and television as well. Disney was never more successful than you had Walt and Roy, Eisner and Wells. For a minute it looked like it could work with Iger, but they pushed this is another weird thing. They pushed out Staggs, who was supposed to he was basically Chapek before, Chapek rolled into his position, but they pushed out Staggs, who got tired of waiting for Iger to leave. So, but he would have maybe done a little bit better, but they put all the responsibility for the epic spending failure that was the Next Generation project on him. Anyway, that's a lot of inside baseball, so I apologize.
No, that's cool. I mean, that's what we're here for. I mean, Midnight Search is all about inside baseball. Yeah. If anyone is. So yeah, that's very cool. And yeah, I like what you also say about like takes two people. It takes a bean counter and it takes a creative. Because Roy Disney doesn't get enough credit. Walt Disney would be nowhere without Roy Disney. Yep. The reason we've heard about Disney today isn't just Walt Disney, it's Roy Disney. Walt Disney would have gone broke many times over were it not for Roy. Absolutely. Walt Disney would be little more remembered than what's his face, like the partner that Walt Disney started out with, his animator.
Yeah.
Who was really good in his own right. Ub Iwerks. Walt Disney today, were it not for Roy Disney, Walt Disney would be little more famous than Ub Iwerks. Like when Ub Iwerks went his own direction, Walt could replace him with another animator. But Walt Disney wouldn't have been able to replace as easily was Roy Disney's talent for business.
That's right. And Ub was really important, right? He really was. So was Exitencio and so many of these other old guys that really kind of laid the foundation work that everybody else built upon. And say what you will about Disney always repurposing content. Well, they took stories that everybody was familiar with, and they put the fairy tale ending on the end of them, Snow White and the Seven Dwarves and all these other things that were, stories had been told for a long, long time. 70 years later, people, or more than that, people still talk about, Sleeping Beauty and, Snow White.
You know what they did? They did the same thing. They did the same thing then as Disney does now. They repurposed stories that people already know with music they already know. Like now, Disney's like remaking their own stuff. Back then, they were adapting, often for the first time, but it was the exact same stories that people had been like telling each other, person to person, for a very long time already.
Yeah.
Of course, again, they did it for the first time, but still, there was like that the familiarity aspect to it.
I have a dumb question to ask. Are we on Super Chats or are we on the...
We're on Super Chats, and we just go off on it. Tom, did you have anything to add to that?
I hate Star Wars now.
Oh, that's something. We'll soon get to Marvel, and we actually have some really good Marvel news for a change, which I'm happy about because I love Marvel. It's like one of my favorite brands, and I absolutely hate being having to be so critical of Marvel, but they deserve it, and then we're going to be. And Revkor says for $10, can't wait for the breakdown to happen. Rise of the Resistance breaks down constantly, and considering how computer heavy it will be, This took so cost-cutted then from the concept. Bob Chapek strikes, or Bob Chapek strikes.
Yeah, cheapskate. No, this is a true statement, and it's part of the reason why you have issues with some of these attractions. And it's also why there's infrastructure in place in Galaxy's Edge that's not utilized, that was laid out for the immersiveness that was promised and then scaled back massively. So it's there. It's just not, including some of the infrastructure, I think, for even the Bantha attraction, but maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah. And Xenobit says, Andre won't play it. He'll lose half his viewers. Well, maybe so, but if I do play it and Disney strikes it, I'll lose all the viewers. So I'll choose the one where I get to keep at least half. And Will Bloom, representing the US and Sweden, says, yo, is it me or is there no like button? Asking from his iPad. Well, you know what? All of you that do have a like button, if you haven't smashed it already, do so right now. And imagine that you're smashing one of those $6,000 a night Disney hotel trips. So yeah, that'll be fun. So everyone smash that like.
Oh, I like that. Let's smash Disney. Let's smash Disney. Let's smash it. That's me being a cheerleader, Andre. I'm like,
yeah,
with my little pom poms over here. Red and
green. Exactly. And we have who says, hi gents, hello everyone. I hope to see you on Toxic Feminine tonight. But if you have other matters, of course we understand. And Xenobit says, Conan the Librarian and Conan O'Brien are best Conan. That was fighting words right there. But we have other super chats, so you are in luck. And then we have Dash Attack, who says for $10, imagine a park based on FF14 Online, which has exploded in popularity this year. Guys, what is FFXIV Online? Like XIV, that's
Final Fantasy. That's Final Fantasy.
Oh,
14.
That's what it is. And it's not 14. Yes, it is 14. Yeah, it is 14, yeah. Final Fantasy, okay. Players and non-players could go to the park. Keep prices down and affordable. Just model the city areas from the game. Yeah. I think that would be a huge hit, to be honest. It would certainly bring in more people than the $6,000 a night Star Wars hotel. The Creative Time Traveler says, who are Disney trying to kid? It's a bus with screens for the ignorant rich. Yeah, I imagine, like, what kind of a laugh they must be having in the back room for every single ticket they sell.
Yeah. Speaking about a bus with screens, they played with an idea along the way. They with theme park transportation that would be interactive buses with screens to inundate you with even more stuff they try to sell you for park transportation. So yeah, I mean they're constantly trying to bombard you with stuff. So that way. Yeah.
And Xenobit also says, for $5, back in 2012, Disney kicked someone out of a park because this jolly old man looked like Santa, and Disney acted like they had the rights to Santa. Well, my first question there is that was it because he looked like Santa, or was it because he looked like a hobo and was drinking? Because that would be like a big difference, but I'm gonna trust you. And yeah, maybe they were afraid of having legal problems with Coca-Cola, because as you know, Coca-Cola invented the Santa that we are seeing today. And no, I kid you not, that's for real. And then we have
I just think Disney needs to come up with a new slogan. Instead of being the happiest place on earth, they should be the most expensive place on earth.
No, the most exclusive place on Earth, where you don't have to deal with any of the rubble and the pleb, because they can't afford to go. I mean, if that's kind of like what they're going for, a retreat for the hyper-rich in the Wall Street Club, they're off to a good start.
It's a world of charge cards and Bitcoin. It's a world... Sorry.
Yeah. Neil Power says for $10 Canadian. Can't remember his name, but a YouTuber said the reason Disney pulled the StarCruiser Hotel video was because people started canceling their bookings. Yeah, that would be a very good reason if they drop a trailer and people start seeing what the hell they've booked and change their minds. Yeah, that would be a good reason.
I think that is somebody who reported on that. Culture, was it Drunk 3PO did a video on that? Somebody, Clownfit? I don't know who it was. I can go look here. I'll go look. Entertain yourselves. I'll be right back.
Yeah, meanwhile, Xenobit also says, these trolls that have dummy accounts just so they can hit dislike. Don't worry, I make sure to hit dislike first so they can't have the first one. Oh, that's good. Taking one for the team, or at least taking away their enjoyment. There's some of that. And Xenobit also says, Andre's mad because Conan won't sleep with him. Yeah, that's a nice subversion of everything Tom has had to deal with past 24 hours. And then we have Master Clockwork, who says for $5, now is Disney went all out on a Star Wars themed cruise ship, I might be interested. But some overpriced theme hotel? No, thank you. Yeah, to me it seems like it has to be something of extremely limited appeal. And we're going to do a couple of more here before we move on to the next main topic here, which is Marvel themed. So that should be fun for a while. And Matthew W says for $10, I recently got an MBA. Oh, congratulations. They taught us not to drive away an established client base for a perceived new one. This looking for a new client base is woke crap that isn't being taught in business school.
Wow. Well, that's you have now given me the exact opposite of what I've heard from people who've been through this experience. So it may perhaps it depends on the program you're in. Like I said, I mean, usually, MBAs are focused on the bottom line. They pay attention to their P&L, and they look for ways to appeal to the broadest possible audience. But that, again, seeing this, Matt, you got a great education that way. But that's not anecdotally what I've been told recently from some of these other locations. So.
What I will say is that be grateful that you have an MBA where you actually have been taught business administration, which is what the MBA is short for, Master of Business Administration. Because anyone that has been taught some kind of like woke bull crap, I pity the employer that's going to hire them. Whereas you actually got the education you were supposed to get by the sounds of it. So kudos. And good luck finding a job that you can prosper in. And then we have Joachim Stark, who points out that great moonshine is never over 38% as end product. I've spoken like a true Swede right there. Yeah, that's brilliant. And Rob Thunderheart says, Hail Andre, Tom, Culture, Casino, and Mexican Iron Man. Thanks for the shout out last night. Yes, I'm in Tom's Twitter fight too. It's fun, really, and sad for them. Yeah, and sad for humanity that such a thing has to be in the first place. And then we have Nelson Neville, who says for $10, first time super chat, long time listener. Hail to you all. Tom, thanks for Enter the Spider-Verse. Thanks to the multiverse, Tom is Spider-Man. We can all be Spider-Man. We are Negan. and
Andre, I have
Nelson for jumping in and throwing us a super chat. Really appreciate that. And Mike, you were saying?
I have exciting news.
Oh,
I look forward to it.
Share my screen if you could, please.
All I know is these guys are lucky that Jesse is no longer allowed on Twitter, because I'm sure he'd have a field day.
So there's our standard cabin, Andre, with our tiny little screen in the back. You see that?
Oh my god!
My room in Vegas was better than this.
Yeah. Or we can get Galaxy class. What's the difference? Galaxy class. Oh, I get a place to sit. Look how little this is. Look. Okay, and then. Or we get a Grand Cap. Andre needs the Grand Captain Suite, so he can put his bar here.
Yeah, this is true. I do need the Grand Captain Suite with the bar. That's absolutely true.
But I have exciting news, Andre.
Yes.
If you want, look, 1209, 2 guests per cabin, per guest per night, $4,800. And Midnight Edge can sponsor me and the date of my choice. let's look for some available dates here. Let's see.
But starting, wait, that's most weeknights there.
Okay, look, I can get in there March 31st.
Is this
think they're
all
sold out
fully
anymore.
booked? Is that what they're saying?
It's not available. I don't know what that means.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, but they're available as early as March.
Yeah, you can get in there. You will have a great time with your departure on the 31st. And your re-arrival on the 4th. Oh, you poor man.
I thought it was sold out until August before or something. Anyway, they've got openings, Andre. Just go ahead and DM me your credit card, and I will do the investigation and the research for Midnight's Edge.
Taking one for the team. Oh, that's excellent. We shall keep that in mind. You know what I'm thinking when I see that? I'm thinking, because like this is at a hotel, an actual real estate building, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a cement box.
You know what my first thought is with that? I mean, it really should have been on a ship. Because with those kind of rooms that are supposed to be on a spaceship, I would imagine that in order to make it seem more real, you should kind of like feel the motion, you should feel the movement of the spaceship, right? Especially if you're in bed in that room there, and you lie in your bed and it's just completely still. As an ordinary bed in a hotel, it's going to, at least to me, it would absolutely shatter the illusion even more than anything else would. Whereas if it had been a boat or something where you had like this subtle like hum from the engine or stuff like that, I just can't imagine like why would anyone want to do that? I do understand why Mike wants to check it out on Midnight's Edge expense. I do understand that. So I appreciate you trying, but like for anyone that has
that was a good effort, huh, Andre? That was a good effort.
Kudos
wait, I got another
effort.
I've got another sales pitch. We can do it for diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we'll get a discount that way.
Oh, I don't think so. They're not that way, dude. They don't discount shit.
No, that's true. That's true. I mean there's an end of diversity and stuff like that, and that's when it comes to ticket prices, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing how much their commitment to diversity will go away when my credit card doesn't go through.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And when they have like people pay full prices so that black kids can go see Black Panther and stuff. That's like, yeah, really could have donated those tickets, but I guess the cost only goes that far. Anyway, Rob Thunderheart says for $10 or 10 Canadian dollars. Tom, you have to do the name. What am I doing?
Rod Thunderheart.
Awesome.
Exactly. And he says, "Hail Midnight's Edge in the morning. I finally caught Dune on demand, unfortunately missing it in the theater. But my bro now finally getting rest of his hernia next week. We enjoyed it. Can't wait for 2. I agree, music was meh. But it certainly was fruitful for discussion, I'll give it that. I'm so glad to hear that your brother's doing better."
Yeah.
Dyslexic American says for $4.99, "Not about Disney, but have any of you guys seen Arcane on Netflix? By far one of the best things on there right now. Have any of you guys seen Arcane?"
It is on. This is actually one that's on my list because of one of my great viewers. Is really pushing on it. I will be checking it out. I've got some commitments around the house for the next few days, but this is going to be one of those things that'll be taking up my spare time. So I haven't seen it, but I'm going to be. So I hear it's great.
So I saw the first one and it freaking rocks, and I stopped because one of the viewers, I can't remember their name right now. God, I'm blanking right now. We've been talking on Twitter, so we're actually going to watch a few more episodes. I'm going to try to set up for Wednesday night. But dude, the first one was epic. It's awesome, and I don't even really like animated art and stuff like that. So I don't know the whole storyline, so I don't know where it's going to go. But details to follow. I'm sure by next week I would have seen all the ones that they've got on the TV.
All right, okay. And with that, then, Let us get into the second main story of today. We have a couple of more super chats to go through. We're going to get through them all in the end, because as we always say, although we might not get to them right away, we leave absolutely no super chats behind. Tom, you there? If so, can you bring up the story I put in the private chat?
Which one here?
The most recent one.
All right. Should we warn for spoilers? Of course, it's already in the title of the episode.
Yeah, it is in the title of the episode. We don't have to say anything where, but basically, we now have confirmation, official confirmation of what we've been saying for the past year and a half, actually. Namely, that Charlie Cox's Daredevil will be part of the MCU. Now, as you may recall, the moment that the deal between Netflix and Marvel came through, and Netflix responded, or fell through, I mean, and Netflix responded by canceling all of their Marvel shows for purely political purposes, even if they were financially successful and they had every reason to continue them. They canceled Daredevil, they canceled Jessica Jones, and they canceled The Punisher. Now, those there were reason to continue. They also canceled Iron Fist, for good reason. They canceled The Defenders, also for good reason, and they canceled the show with Power Man with mixed reason. And then retroactively, those series were kicked out of the MCU. As they were going on, we were told they were part of the MCU, but the moment that things broke down between Netflix and Marvel, which was because of Marvel deciding to do their own things on Disney Plus, they were removed from the MCU retroactively. But fans wanted to see the stories continue, certainly the actors return. And now Kevin Feige has confirmed that that is indeed happening. It's going to happen to several, but the one that has been confirmed so far is Charlie Cox's Daredevil, who will indeed be the MCU's own Man Without Fear, which of course is called for Daredevil. Now, before we move on with any story details here, because we know a little bit more. We've been dropping some tidbits here and there in the past year and a half. But for those that don't know all of those details, Culture, what's your first reaction to this upon learning that Charlie Cox will be back?
I was thrilled, right? Because again, I thought that this on Netflix, this show was one of the best superhero shows I'd ever seen, right? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was not great. Gotham was terrible. This thing came out of the woodwork and it was spectacular. Charlie Cox is genius at this character. The portrayal of Daredevil was very, very much, as I would have known him from the comics. That whole Hell's Kitchen set of shows, because that's where all these shows were set, right? Those were perfect. So the fact that this is genuine and it's a real possibility for that specific character and that specific actor playing that character, I was excited. But again, that excitement is tempered, which it shouldn't be. It should be unabashed. I shouldn't be worried about it. But my initial reaction was, this is great. Just don't Kate Bishop my Daredevil.
Yeah, that's a very good point. We shall see what happens there. I see people are also excited in the comments. Headspace Astronaut says they need to bring Drew Goddard and Stephen DeKnight. Who knows? It may happen. So, a fun fact: Stephen DeKnight was actually in talks to do the Conan series at one point for Netflix, but that didn't happen. It's a shame because he would have been awesome at that. But anyway, this is about Daredevil. Mike, are you excited to see Charlie Cox return?
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. How many times have we seen a superhero played by a great actor with an experience that was awesome that's brought back to introduce someone else? Okay. So I'm not. I mean, look, they took my Avengers in Endgame, and they brought him to the Marvel TV platform, and things went to hell in a handbasket. All of the excitement that I would have is now gone and lost, and I don't believe if I'm pleasantly surprised. Okay, pleasantly surprise me, but I'm not, because I don't think they're going to do what they need to do with him. Why now? See, I look at this now and I say to myself, why now? Why now? Why?
Okay, I can answer that.
All right. Well, answer that for me, because as a fan, I can tell you this was the show that got this was this is back when superhero shows were done right. And for months, years, fans have been clamoring for, like, why did this end? When is it coming back? Why can't we sign this guy? Why are we still doing these other shows? How come no one announced Daredevil? Why is Daredevil not in the mix? How can we have the next phase of the Marvel Universe? And then all this, now this comes? Teach us, Andre.
The reason this is happening now, and not 1 month ago or 2 months ago, but now, is because now we have passed 3 years since Netflix cancelled Daredevil. And a timer started running on the day they pulled the plug on it. On that day, Daredevil was frozen for 3 years. And they couldn't do anything with him until that counter had hit the 3-year mark. Now it has hit the 3-year mark. Now is when they can publicly talk about it. That is what has happened. Before, like 2 months ago, they couldn't do anything. Now they can. That's why now. Also, they'll be introducing him fairly soon. So they didn't waste any time. They probably would have done something sooner if they could. And that's also, like, people are going to be wondering, what about all the others? Well, Daredevil was the first to be cancelled, which is why he's the first that can return.
Yeah, and we reported on this way back when it was.
Yeah, we did. And this again, it comes from Mikey Sutton's Geekosity. He was the one that told us this 1.5 years ago. So they're going to.
Well, I mean, we were talking about it way back before that, even like when it was first canceled. I mean,
yeah. So they'll be. Yeah, this is true. Like how they said that. Oh, we will bring these characters back in some fashion, some form, but they couldn't do it until 3 years had passed for every single one. So as each of these characters hit the 3-year mark of their cancellation, that's when they can be brought back.
All right, well, now that I ask the question, will they do it right now? Because I think every time they try to do something, it's done wrong.
That, of course, is the bigger question. Now, here I would like to be able to say an unqualified yes, but that I can't do. I can tell you what they're doing, though. What they're doing is that the Netflix verse, that was just another universe in the multiverse that Loki created, or co-created in the final episode of season 1 of the Loki series. That's what created the entirety of the multiverse, in which every single Marvel movie and Marvel series that has ever been made, ever since the Incredible Hulk back in 1978, or even the Doctor Strange movie in 1978, they all take place in this multiverse. And the Netflix verse is just one of these multiverses, but they have variants in our world that we just haven't seen it. So we saw one Daredevil in that universe, but we have an identical Daredevil running around in our world. We just haven't seen him yet. Or our world, therefore, being the MCU. So we will be presented to the variant of Charlie Cox's Daredevil that is native to the MCU. And we haven't seen him before. And how much of his previous adventures as Daredevil in the Netflix verse they'll keep, we don't know. But they have already introduced someone else, namely the Kingpin, has already been hinted at in Hawkeye. So that is something that will continue. How much they will remember of their backstory, don't know. That's up to Kevin Feige. Exactly where he will appear fully fledged as Daredevil, don't know. Not yet been announced. I would maybe anticipate that we'll be getting some kind of post-credit stinger after after the Spider-Man movie. I wouldn't be surprised if we get something there. That there obviously are plans already. One of the things they had been talking about was not put him on the traditional Disney Plus, but put him on some Disney Plus behind like an adult rating, or even put him on FX. Those things have been discussed because their intention apparently is for the Netflix series or the Netflix characters, if you will, to continue to be rated TVR. That was the intention. Of course, they said the same thing about Deadpool, and that's not happening, which is why we haven't seen
exactly
Deadpool
what I was
yet.
about to bring up. I'm glad you mentioned
exactly. So we don't know what they will be doing. We know we'll be seeing these characters again, at least some of them. But will they be done
count
right?
Deadpool out yet. I've still heard some shit about Deadpool. So
you have?
Yeah, they've been talking about Deadpool 3 for a while now.
Well, let's put it this way: it's not completely outside the realms of possibility.
They just did an ad as Deadpool with
shit, you're right.
Oh, that is coming.
Free Guy.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
You're right.
I told you. Yeah, they've been talking.
You discussed this on Midnight Sits 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I even heard the rumor that it's gonna be R-rated. Because the PG-13 thing failed.
Oops. Hashtag Mexican Iron Man has bad memory.
It's all right. No, I said this.
Oh, we have a lot of information coming through here. Plus, you have loads of numbers and stuff to deal with. So,
yeah. No, yeah, I'm pretty confident we're going to get a Deadpool 3. I said it may be the last Deadpool we get, but I'm pretty sure we will. And then from then on out, I don't know if they're just going to have him pop up in the Marvel universe here and there or what.
Look, my thing is that this is one of the best superhero adaptations ever, and you know what? I just hope it's done right and it's not done wrong, because I'm so sick of done wrong.
Yeah. If they did it right, Small Time Republic, it would be hard PG-13 or R, but I just don't. Yeah, Disney would
R for sure.
Yeah, but the original one would definitely be PG-13. No,
actually, for sure.
You know what's funny is because when it came out, PG-13 did exist, but by those standards, it was fine to be PG. Now, if that movie came out today as is, it would be rated PG-13. And my point goes with Ghostbusters Afterlife. Like, look how tame that is compared to the original Howard the Duck. I mean, you even have a duck sex scene, for fuck's sake, practically.
Yeah, you have like you haven't seen it? There's like topless duck titties and everything.
I'm such a lucky girl.
No.
I'm so in love. You've never seen Howard the Duck?
No.
He almost fucks Lena Thompson.
Movie. I never saw Howard the Duck. It's been on my list forever. I got a list of 10 movies that
it's not a great movie, but it's a better movie than it gets credit for. And
it's a George Lucas movie.
Yeah, wow. He produced it. Believe it or not, it was a movie he had been trying to get made before Star Wars even. He bought the rights, I believe, back in the late 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah, he bought like shortly after the character was first released. Probably because he was high at the time, every bit as high as the people who created it. And it's only in a certain state of mind that you can appreciate the intention of the writers, who were equally high. So something must have clicked, and he thought that everyone is going to love this, and then he forgot that the audience
George Lucas did drugs.
They weren't high, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, if you disbelieve that, just watch Howard the Duck and ask yourself, could a sober man ever have released something like this? And the answer should be self-evident.
Well, let me put it to you this way, Mike. A lot of those guys back in the day that used to hang out, they were all hanging out with hippies. Like, these are the guys that made, like, Easy Rider and shit like that. I would not be surprised if George Lucas partook with the boys back in the day. I'm sure he's done plenty of cocaine in his time too, but I don't
judge. Mexican Iron Man does.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised. You definitely don't come up with shit like that after a cup of coffee. I mean, come on, Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
It all makes sense now, and some more illusions shattered, didn't they?
I really like The Godfather, but I don't know if I can get Marlon Brando in this movie. I know how I can do it. I'll turn him into a slug.
Okay, you stop making me laugh.
Well, he did say that Jabba the Hutt was based on The Godfather, so
Yeah, very much. And Culture Casino regrettably has to be leaving us. But it was a pleasure to have you join us today. Thank you so much for all your Disney insights. So, as always, it's been a blast to have you on. You're always welcome. Our doors is always welcome to you. Everyone, go check out Culture Casino's channel. Check out his daily news breakdown. Check out his Tuesday shows, always with Tom, with me whenever I have the opportunity. And if you want to get in the words edgewise, now's the time.
Oh, yeah, I had a great time. As always, a great privilege and pleasure to be here. And check out everything that I've been doing lately. I've got a video coming out this week that's kind of timeless about TV ratings. Also, Amy Pascal looks weird. I'll leave you with that. Everybody have a great day. See you soon.
Yeah, you should check her. You should read her emails.
Oh man,
I wonder if she's learned to spell now.
I got some related Disney news that Six sent to me here. I don't know why they're doing this, but okay.
Oh well,
Let's take a look.
A Shang-Chi sequel in the works with filmmaker Destin Daniel Cretton.
Yes.
Are we sure that it's Shang-Chi, or is it Shang-Chi's sister? I mean, can't they just be honest and say that it's his sister?
Well, this is from Hollywood Reporter, so let's read the story.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings director Destin Daniel Cretton, if I'm saying that right, is staying in the Marvel fold, with the filmmaker signing an overall deal with Marvel Studios and Hulu's Onyx Collective. The deal allows him to produce projects for television.
Wait, an overall deal? Oh
yes.
No, I don't think he did that good.
I was going to say, yeah. Cretton also developing a sequel to Shang-Chi, the well-regarded superhero movie.
Oh wow! I mean, I can't think of a worse insult.
I thought it was a fucking triumph.
Yeah, here's like the thing. It was a triumph prior to release, but now suddenly it's well regarded. I mean, what kind of an insult is that? That's kind of like you're like saying, yeah, okay, that's a kid. He's not. He does okay at school.
That'd be like Tom. I want to hook you up with my cousin because she's got an awesome personality.
No. It's not awesome. She has a well-regarded personality.
No, actually, I think a better way of going at this, Andre, is how, like, as you do most of the writing, right? So when you're saying stuff, I'll say something to you and you're like, yeah, but I'm not saying it like that. And then you'll rewrite it in a more poetic way. That's what they did here, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, that's some inside baseball. Like when we do research and stuff like that, Tom will often have worked this art out on a script, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to say it like that. And change it completely, but it still has the same basic content.
Yeah, you're making it more poetic, and
that's like the same thing here.
Okay,
but here, I don't think it's more poetic, like a well-regarded.
I was trying to put not a spin on it, but like kind of like.
But anyway, carry on.
Yeah, but they're definitely trying to say that it was a bad movie without saying it's a bad movie.
Yes.
Keep going, Tom. This is good. This is
Cretton will return to write and direct, and is also working on a new Marvel Cinematic Universe series for Disney Plus as part of the overall deal.
Oh, that would be the Shang-Chi sister series.
Probably. Shang-Chi stands as the highest grossing domestic film of 2021 with... It really?
Is that true?
I don't know about that. I thought Fast 9 made more than that.
Wait, how much? I can't
claimed 224 domestically, highest grossing domestic film of 2021. With that seems unlikely.
I can go look. You want me to?
First of all, I want to know. I think Fast 9 made more than that. Let's see if I can find the budget, your box office here.
You know why I'm excited, Andre?
Yeah, no, do share.
It's not because this movie sucked. Remember, this is the only movie so far this year. I didn't even walk out of the Green Knight.
Okay, it didn't make as much, I guess. Okay.
And that movie sucked. I'm excited, Tom and Andre, because this means that Rabbit Chicken International will be fortified with a part 2.
Yeah, I was also thinking this means like more stuffing for the tacos.
Yep.
Actually, no. Now I think about it, I thought it was Bond, but that was probably worldwide. That's why.
Yeah, you're right. Like, if we could have like some pork to go with the rabbit chicken.
Now, worldwide is way down the list. Let me try to find domestic here. Do you got it? Do you got the domestic numbers there, Mike?
I'm grabbing them right now. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, you probably better easier for you because.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
Okay, yeah, it's just barely beat Venom, but Venom is gonna beat it possibly. But I don't know. Probably not now. Never mind. It's too late for that. But like it barely beat Venom. So I guess.
I saw Venom, by the way, finally, eventually.
And what did you think?
I thought that was disappointing compared to the first one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see exactly what they did in the post-credit scene there. Spoiler alert for Venom 2. Doctor Strange snapped him into the MCU.
Yeah.
I did not get that from how people were describing the scene, but that's obviously what happened.
Excuse me, sorry, I have to do this. Where the fuck did my button go?
Okay, so there's that one. So where's the other one you wanted?
Fuck, I lost the button.
You want Venom?
No, he wants. I fucking knew it.
Now I can't do it. It's not as funny. Then I'll do this.
As a reminder, I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
Wait, what? Okay, so Venom.
Venom that escalated.
Venom's at 213 U.S. North America and 856.
It's done now, so like it's not going to make any more money in the U.S.
224 and 431.
But like, yeah, Shang-Chi just barely beat it, and Black Widow. How are they figuring that? Is that just the theatrical side then? On the
Black so Shang-Chi is the biggest movie of the year so far.
I guess.
My God, 2021, do better.
No shit.
Do more better.
Barely, but
there's Spider-Man, but yeah.
Oh yeah, Spider-Man's gonna cremate it.
Anyway, what were we saying? Are we done with the article or what?
No, continue with the article, Tom.
I can continue. I don't know how much is left to it, but
yeah, we'll get to where no one cares anymore.
Destin is a powerhouse storyteller with impeccable taste in material. That's right. He came up with Rabbit Chicken.
Well,
as we continue to expand our roster, hey, we got to give him credit for Rabbit Chicken. I don't care. Destin's unique voice will help usher in an exciting slate of content for our global audience, said Tara Duncan, president of Freeform and Who's Onyx Collective.
Yeah, apart from China.
Yeah. Cretin is producing via his new production company, Family Owned, which he launches with partner Asher Goldstein to build a slate of projects in film and TV that highlight the experience of communities that have traditionally been overlooked by pop culture. So I'm just going to make woke stuff, in other words.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, Destin is an amazing collaborator who brought a unique perspective and skill to Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings, and we have had a fantastic time working together on film, and he has so many intriguing ideas for stories to bring, blah, 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 just a bunch of ass kissing, and just the info. So there you go. We're getting a Shang-Chi too.
Yep.
Somebody's printing something.
Yeah. Well,
sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Those financial papers won't print themselves.
Yeah, that's right.
And the damn thing got stuck, and I can't pull it out. And the motor.
There was just a moment of silence, and all of a sudden I heard.
Yeah, we all know that sound all too well, don't we? So yeah.
And you're right, Sander Hammerslag. Rabbit Chicken is the other meat. Oh Lord. I still haven't watched Shang-Chi. I watched 10 minutes of it. I think it was.
What, of Rabbit Chicken or the Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi, like the opening scene was so CGI. I'm just like, okay, this is.
But that's the best part.
That's what you said, and I'm like, if it's downhill from here, fuck.
But then you haven't seen the Rabbit Chicken.
No.
Or as I described it, headless Snarf.
Well, headless Snarf is the species. So
I live with the Rabbit Chicken. Remember?
I'm going to review the shit out of this movie when it comes out, or TV show.
Paulus Plain sent in 200 Norwegian krona. P1, I sent this super chat last night on Overlord DVD. Hell, Tom and Mike, I think he means Hale. Cameron Pasha, Mary T. Barra is the CEO and of GM and Disney board member and part of the establishment. She is part of the corrupt crusade against Elon Musk and Tesla.
That's correct. She's not the only woke ass weirdo that's on the Disney board, along with a few other corporate weirdos.
Well, and that's where we kind of say, like, that's where they keep getting this resistance, and that's where the Civil War stems from.
Exactly, because the board isn't unified among itself.
Absolutely not.
And thank freaking God for that, because that means that they haven't won completely. You still have people on the board that want to earn money, and Gordon Gekko, he was right. Greed is, for lack of a better term, good. Because woke people aren't greedy people.
Yeah.
Well, they may be, but they're like more patient in their long game.
Well, they just expected it to be handed to them. They don't.
Right. That's the whole point. Woke people aren't hardworking people. They expect, they're no different. I've just started asking people that are hardcore left in my family, like, what does it feel like to be a Marxist and lazy? Tell me what that feels like.
It's kind of like creating a character that has the same powers as Spider-Man, the same costume almost as Spider-Man, and even the same name as Spider-Man, same damn background almost as lazy.
Tom, you're not being very supportive of the fact that you can do all that, and then to be truly creative, you just come up with a new name, but keep everything else.
And Tom, you're also not being supportive of the fact that there's a part 2 of this super chat. And I'm not being supportive because I haven't mentioned it. Like, we have other super chats we haven't gone through yet.
Yes, we are going to get through
them on screen. We'll get to every single one before the end here.
Part 2.
But yeah, part 2.
Mary T. Barra, CEO of GM and Disney board member, claims is the world leader in EVs, and totally ignoring the market dominance of Elon Musk and Tesla. With the help of President Joe Biden, she is a club member.
Yeah. EVs, is that maybe electrical vehicles? Is that what it's short for?
I think that's what he means, yeah.
Yeah.
If I had to take a wild guess in the dark, considering we're talking about Tesla and Elon Musk.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for the super chats and for the information, my fellow countrymen. Xenobit says, I want Howard the Duck to role play a hero in the MCU, so we can have Darkwing Duck next to Iron Man.
It's possible as hell, actually. Speaking of, did you hear that Seth Rogen's going to ruin Darkwing Duck?
You serious? Like the Disney XD serious. Duck? Is that him?
He's going to be doing the Darkwing Duck reboot or spinoff, whichever one it's going to be. Yeah.
Well, and there's also some rumors. I do not know how accurate they are, but there are some rumors to suggest that that he's going to be Benjamin Grimm, the Thing in the MCU.
Oh no!
Oh, that is. I think I just got nauseous.
No, I think I just.
I don't know that that's accurate.
I felt the same way, Tom. I feel like I just threw up in my mouth. Are you effing kidding me? Wait, what?
I just saw that on like 4chan or Reddit or something. So I do not know who the leaker is. I haven't heard it from Microsoft or something. so that just may be a joke. I don't know if it's accurate, but
I hope it's a fucking
joke. But the additional information, which was that these characters will be introduced in Ant-Man Quantumania before getting their own movie. Unless that's a complete hoax, the timelines kind of line up with now is when they need to be cast.
Wow,
that is,
and he's definitely part of like the club that.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's been getting a lot of attention.
So it does seem plausible.
I wouldn't put it past them. No, I completely can see them doing it.
I can totally see them casting him as Ben Grimm, the Thing, and I can totally see him why he might be like a halfway decent fit for it.
My buddy Clobbering Time is going to lose his mind.
No, get that thought right out of your fucking head right now. Because what I just said is going to happen. I'm rock hard all the time. My dork's even made out of stone. That's going to be the thing.
Oh, you can bet there's going to be like dick jokes.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. You really think this is going to be a good idea? No.
No, I didn't say it was a good idea. I don't even know it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be
You
surprised
said
if
something about it being a good fit, though, or something like that.
No. I mean, I can kind of like see where they want to
Okay,
go with like the
sorry.
voice and the build and everything,
Yeah.
and why he might be like a good fit with that, like with just like the kind of humor that he can bring to it with someone else written for him. I can see how he,
That I can
in that
see.
sense, might be a good fit.
And then Jillian N says, Midnight Edge watch party. Time to introduce Mexican Iron Man to Howard the Duck. Guess what? It is on 4K.
That it actually is.
I don't know how it got a
Unbelievable.
4K release before American Graffiti, but it fucking did.
Well, yeah, it's.
I'm still waiting for my American Graffiti in 4K.
Well, if we do that watch titty, then Mike can look forward to duck titties in 4K.
Okay, what? That's disgusting.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know it is.
That's freaking disgusting.
I'm so in love. What the freak am I looking at? Warwolf sends in $2 and says, in the beginning there was Howard the Duck. Too bad I don't have the echo, though.
Yeah, and before you do the next one, Matthew W. says,
yes.
Disney sucks the money out of the parks to pay for all the other crap. If they put the money into the parks and guest experience, they'd make even more. Yeah, here's like the thing, that the bank accounts, that was their own little oil reserves that they could just like, that was seeming like this endless reserve that would just like send money into their account every single month, covering for all their other mistakes. And now, when that's no longer true, that's made it all the more urgent to fix and increase profitability in the other areas. Now, there's a good side to that. I just hope that the people that actually want money are going to win out at the board. But that doesn't have to be the next one, a bad thing. But yeah, Tom, feel free to do the next one that you can, and I'll do the vintage one after that.
We'll bounce around, yeah. Rigo Zorro says, multiverse sidestep Redcon's complaints, but still destroys time invested in Netflix series. I will now light my hair on fire. Glad Charlie's back, though. Here's the thing, Rico. Here's what I think they're going to do, and I could be completely wrong. I think they're just going to introduce the characters, and they're going to give you like a vague backstory that will fit in Netflix, but it won't be enough to step upon, like they won't make any actual references, right? Like
they're going to Incredible Hulk it, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, if you like go back to that movie, the one starring Edward Norton, there it went into him already being established as the Hulk. There was a backstory there. It was kind of referenced. It was like much the same thing that happened when they introduced Spider-Man into the MCU. You already kind of knew the backstory.
Yeah, exactly.
So probably they're going to do exactly the same thing here.
That's a better
So
example.
I don't think that you have wasted the time invested in a Netflix series. I think that you're going to be in a position where Daredevil, Kingpin, and the Punisher all know each other. They've all had past interactions. It'll be written in such a way to make it clear for the uninitiated, those that haven't seen the Netflix series, that they don't have to see them. It'll be clear from the context exactly what's going on. But I don't think there's going to be anything to contradict the Netflix series. If you want to make it part of your own head canon, you can. That's where they're introduced for the first time, because a variation of those events will have, like, put it this way, the PG variation of those events is what happened in the MCU. So I don't think you should feel that you've wasted your time. On the contrary, if you had, they wouldn't bring these characters back. Now, the waste of time was watching Iron Fist, because what was his name again? Finn Jones.
Yeah.
That actor, he's the one that they will not be bringing back. Because Kevin Feige, he's in a position to like pick and choose. Like, yeah, that works, that works, that works. Hell no to anything Scott Buck did. So the Inhumans are out. That never happened. And Iron Fist never happened. So any time spent watching that, yeah, that was a waste. You're not getting that time back again. But the time that you spent watching Daredevil, time well spent.
No, I think the Spider-Man, when you brought up how they brought in, I think that's going to be kind of similar. And to us, it'll almost be seamless, right? And again, as long as they don't refer to any specifics from those series, I'm sure they're fine.
I think they'll be very general.
Yeah, it's going to be very general stuff. And even if they do some slight flashbacks, I bet it'll be very generic stuff that'll kind of like, it won't
25% different.
Yeah, they can't use footage from the original stuff, but it'll just be kind of a variant thereof and kind of a loose kind of thing. I don't even think they will, to be honest with you, because we've never seen a flashback for Spider-Man. So I don't think we'll see a flashback for any of these other characters either. I think you're 100% correct, Andre. At least that's the feeling I've gotten from what I've heard, and I know what you've probably heard from Mikey and others, that's kind of how they're doing it. They're just kind of bringing them in like they've already been there already. They're just not going to refer to any of the stuff that happened in any detail.
Yeah.
And then off that one, I don't know you're going to jump back to a classic one, but this one...
Yeah, I'll do that afterwards.
Yeah, this one actually is on topic. That's why I brought it up. Drew with the Comics Elite says, I failed to see why we should be excited about a G or PG Disney Channel version of Daredevil. Tom, check out my comic Born of Blood on Kickstarter. I will do my best to check that out. And as far as the G or PG thing, I get that, but like they've been pretty hardcore PG-13 so far with a lot of this stuff. You know, it's I get it, but like even watching like Hawkeye recently, I was kind of surprised with how much violence was in that, and bloodshed. I mean, so I get it, and I heard early on that Blade was going to be a very hardcore PG-13, and I had a knee-jerk reaction at first too. But then I'm like thinking back on the original Blade film, it's like, really, if you take out the F words and the nudity, you can pretty much get away with everything else. So, like, really, I mean, that's about the only thing that'll be probably different. And I mean, there was only a couple of tit shots in the original Blade anyway. So, I mean, really, I mean, what are you really missing there? I mean, that's whatever, but I get it. I get the apprehension, and I am concerned they will tone them down a bit. Andre obviously insinuated that already too. So hopefully it's not too much though, after seeing like a few of the things so far and how they've been allowed to get away with what they have. I'm much
more worried about the Punisher, to be honest.
Yeah, if anything, the Punisher is the one that's going to suffer the most.
It's the Punisher, and I really want to see the Slavers, that storyline by Garth Ennis, see that in live action, and that can't be done unless you go full rated R. Simply can't be done just because of the tone.
And honestly, I'll be honest with you, I'm actually kind of surprised they're even considering bringing back the Punisher.
I am too.
They would bow to the pressure. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I am like worried. Are they going to do like in the Spider-Man animated series and have him only kill vampires like Blade?
I don't think they'll go. No, because they've, like I said, they've already had. There's plenty of body count already in Hawkeye. That was my point. Like they show people getting hacked and slashed and everything else in that. Like if anything, Hawkeye's been one of the most violent things in the Marvel universe I've seen so far.
Well,
there's blood splatter and everything.
It needs to stop. Okay, well that's promising because the Punisher needs that.
I mean, they don't directly show too much of the direct violence, but there's more than enough. It's like, honestly, thinking back on it, it probably seemed more violent to me because you did, it's that visceralness, right? Like you see the aftermath of certain things and the blood splatter, but you don't actually see a lot of the strikes and stuff like that. So like it almost, you have to fill it in with the blanks. Like,
yeah, but that works. That's efficient. I mean, that's the same thing they did with the car decapitation scene in Daredevil season 1 with the Kingpin, and it worked better because of it.
Yeah, very similar to that. And honestly, I've seen violence already on that level in the show, so I'm not too worried. But again, I can understand the concern completely. Totally understand, Drew. And Born of Blood, I'll try to remember to write that down here. Thank you.
Yeah. And then we have Xenobits, who says, Stan Lee also said that Marvel had terrible profits when he ran it. He was a creative and said you need a businessman to run it. Exactly. I mean, do not underestimate the numbers, man. You need the numbers, man. And the perfect combination for any like creatively driven company is to kind of like have a structure where you have a creative who can run the creative side of business while also working in unison with a numbers guy who can keep the creative guy in check and steer his creativity in a financial direction while taking care of all of the financials. That was the secret behind Disney's success. It wasn't just Walt Disney's charm and creativity, it was Roy Disney's talent for business. It was those two things combined. If Walt Disney hadn't had Roy to help him out with the business side, you would not have heard about Walt Disney today. Or you might have, like the same as Max Fleischer or as Ub Iwerks, but not anything more than that. I guarantee you it's because of Roy Disney that you know Disney. And then, Tom, is there a more recent one you can bring up?
Let's see here. My internet just dipped out there, so I missed.
Well, while you wait for that, I'll go back to the next one.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you just fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Paradise Plane says for 100 Norwegian krona, the woke symbolism of the Star Wars Galactic StarCruiser. A small man looking up to a tall woman, telling him how things are.
Yeah, not only
that's a visual right there.
It's the kid who plays Adam on the Goldbergs as well.
Yeah. A show I have never seen myself, but I didn't really feel like watching it after seeing that.
It was a decent show the first season or so, and then it just kind of grew old. Like the joke kind of grew old, and you kind of it got to me because like you got a point where like 1 week it was taking place in 86, the next week it was 89, the next week it was 82. It's like, okay, nobody's aged differently at all. And now I think the show's dead anyway because now the dad's getting Me Too'd on the show. So.
Oh, that's so lame. Anyway, and the Xenobit says for $5, clarifying his earlier super chat, the Santa getting kicked out was because Disney had the Tim Allen Santa Claus film. So they argued, confused with the cast, blah, blah. Ah, that makes sense, though, and it's completely ridiculous nonetheless. But yeah, that would explain it. And then Warwolf says, hey all, book will hopefully be done this week. Oh, awesome. Excellent. Glad to hear it. Fingers crossed for that. Do keep us up to date when it is done. And then we just have to scroll down here because, again, there's no repository. Here we go. And then we have Donna Hergenrether, who says for $9.99, I am worried about Disney. I did my MBA project on AT&T. Look what happened to AT&T when they tried to dive into Hollywood. What say you, Mexican Iron Man? We'll bring this one up again.
I think he stepped away. So hang on to that one. I had one here and then it jumped. Here it is. Zach Redpillar says in before Daredevil is replaced by a newer, better Mary Sue. I'm not sure what he's is.
No, like he's like thinking they're gonna Hawkeye it basically that Daredevil is just gonna be Charlie Cox passing the baton to a younger, more diverse female, just like Iron Man and everyone else is. So yeah, well, if that happens, Zach Redpillar, you said it first. Well, actually, you said it 100, but certainly for today. To the next one, so that I can keep Donna's super chat here on standby for when. Oh, you're back. Perfect. Excellent. We have a super chat for you here, Donna.
Yeah, I read it. Yeah, I was listening in.
Yeah.
So yeah, whenever I step away, I always take the wireless headphones with me. So here in the world of business, it's about core competencies, and I think that's something that when you look at a company like Disney, AT&T included, there's some people that believe that they want an empire built. They come into these corporations like Iger did, and he wants to build an empire. His ego. We think of the great emperors of the Caesars, not great in the sense of like, where they were good people, but just, people that built empires. That's what Iger did. I mean, Disney had no business. Never had any business buying Star Wars. Disney had zero track record of being able to pull off great science fiction in any shape or way, in any way, shape, or form.
Well, and let's not forget Tron or the Black Hole, but that's a long time in the past. So I see what you mean.
Yeah, but yeah, sure. I mean, you can always have periodic or sporadic success, but I wouldn't say
those were exceptions rather than the
exactly
rule.
exceptions
Beyond
to the rule.
those were flukes.
And I actually think, Andre, you would have an interesting take on this as well because you come from corporate finance. You know, one of the mistakes that Exxon made which is where I cut my teeth, is that we thought we thought we could be great marketers and retail managers. We can't. We're an oil company. We're drilling, exploration, and refining, and that had to be the core competency. And ultimately, the merger with Mobil happened because Exxon failed to realize that it didn't have the core competencies to run retail gas stations. In any case, Disney has to. If I were running Disney, this is what I would do. I would sell off these assets, reduce my debt, and focus on the cash flow and reinvest in the parks and the experience. And I would grow the user experience. And I would, with a lot of these patents, what do you call it? These copyrights expiring, I would make sure that we have new and exciting experiences for the characters that we do that have a longer copyright horizon. Anyway, it's all about core competencies. AT&T had no business going into the movie studio business, but I think they were smart enough to find somebody that could help them with their investment better.
Well, the difference is I don't think AT&T was looking at it as them getting into the movie industry as it was them getting into the streaming industry.
Yep. Well said.
But they did enter the content creation industry.
Yes.
And that is
to
where
facilitate that. Yes.
Yeah. And I think that the problem they did was that they gave a money check to the wrong people, because honestly, I think that they would have been better off if they had just done it completely on their own. Instead, they had someone else who were already doing it, and they had the wrong people. And they started their own, HBO Max division. And if you just look at DC in particular, they actually did better than the movie division. The movie division was like crazy Hollywood folk. So you had profit-driven people in AT&T, and you had crazy ideologues in Time Warner. And there, of course, you have a clash.
Chickens with heads cut off and all that kind of business. Yeah, spending money left. And actually, I would argue that AT&T bringing Discovery in is not so much a sign of defeat as it is them making a smart move. Like maybe, looking back and certain things that have happened at this point, I believe that this is going to start paying off for AT&T. HBO Max is the only one that's showing any growth, at least any major growth anyway. As far as like once they bring in Discovery, I feel like as long as Laszlo does what he did for the Discovery networks for Warner Brothers, I think that the company could be in good shape. And they need to get rid of what's his face, Toby Emmerich and
and also I always forget her name. One of the Hollywood royalty. Thank you, Sarnoff. They need to get rid of her, and they need to get rid of Walter Hamada.
And I think they're all three of them. I think have one foot already out the door.
Yeah, we've all heard that they're like brushing.
Toby Emmerich, I think, is the only one who's still vying to keep his job, and he's been there too long. And honestly, the studio, Warner Brothers, there was a time before he was in control where Warner Brothers was basically outpacing Disney in the entertainment side of things. And once he took over, Warner really just kind of folded in on itself. There was no real leadership inside. I mean, I've actually talked to Toby before. I don't think he's a dumb guy, but he kind of made his success on ripping other people off and moving up the ranks at New Line. And I'm sure he just kissed the right ass when New Line was took over by Warner Brothers, and that's how he managed to get where he was at. Again, he's not the worst out there, but he's kind of like, he's not the best either. And I think he's really on his way out. I think that he's done, and I think Laszlo's going to be the guy to come in. And I'm not saying he's going to take over his job, but I feel like Laszlo's going to probably oversee a lot more of the creative side of things, especially since, a lot of Warner's effort is going into HBO Max, and that's kind of where he's the conduit.
Yeah, probably.
Does that make sense? I mean,
yeah, it does make sense, and I think that that's probably on the money. I think hopefully Zaslow will do very well with it. But I have to say that with HBO Max, they haven't done bad. It's the movie side, it's the Warner Media people that have really let them down. They got the wrong people that weren't aligned with the overall corporate goals. That's been the issue there. And you have like the same thing with CBS when you have like internal divisions whose goals do not align with the corporation's goals. I mean, and that's like MBA 101 to get back into that a little bit. Like any strategy, the company has to be aligned behind it. But you see so often in these big corporations where one division's goal is diametrically opposed to another one's, and that's when you get the issues here. But hopefully Zaslow can make that all right again. And then we have Xenobit saying for $5, if I ran to Galactic Cruise, or if he ran Galactic Cruise, I'd hire British Race to yell at people, let go of my hand, so you can feel like you're in episode 7. Very immersive. Yeah. Go and hire some Kathleen Kennedy stand-ins. That would be brilliant.
Speaking of Kathleen Kennedy, I got the story about Cleopatra here, and yeah, it looks like at least my initial, this is the excuse they're going with, is that she's moving away from Cleopatra to work on.
Yeah, bring up the story if you can have it here.
Because I don't know about this. Like, I mean, it could be some spin, but also if this is the case, then it does put some cracks in Baloney's article. Gal Gadot's clear. We already kind of got the basics of this. The director of Winter Soldier and Falcon is going to be taking over. We already got that news, I think, covered. But according to this report, it's so that she could focus on her next 2 projects, Wonder Woman 3 and Rogue Squadron. Now, that goes more in line with what I had heard, and I think you had heard also initially too, Andre, is that they made her go back to the rewrites. Now, the Baloney article is the one that said that she was gone, right? If I remember right?
Yes.
See, so this is still not like, and that's where I was kind of saying, I'm not so sure she's completely gone yet. So could this be, how do you see this, you guys? Like,
the way I see it is that the priority here is Wonder Woman 3. And Wonder Woman 3 is going to take up 2 to 3 years of her calendar. I think that Rogue Squadron is going to be there for some while, but I am not convinced that she's going to go into Rogue Squadron afterwards, unless like it's an amazing script or anything like that. But what we've seen before is that once these Star Wars projects, and of course that can change now, but historically, just learning from history, once a Star Trek project in the past decade is delayed, it's toast. So I wouldn't. I'm not going to say that I think that Rogue Squadron is still happening. I'm inclined to believe that it won't. If it does, awesome. But
I think another rewrite will happen, but then, like, you're right. I think from there it'll depend, and there's more than enough time. I think you're right.
What if maybe she focuses on Wonder Woman?
Oh, she's going to do that. She may be legally required to do so, or that's
what I was
like,
saying
right.
before.
So there's a time clock. Just hold on. I'm formulating my thoughts. I apologize. I'm going so slow. But let's say she's so that's the priority for a variety of legal timeline reasons. Pulling back from what maybe the Kennedy woke folks would have done with the Rogue Squadron, and knowing how beloved that story is to her because her pop is a fighter pilot, she then comes back in a post-woke or less woke era, and then that project still does happen, but it happens with some non-woke integrity.
Then that so much better. I'm in favor of delaying every single movie there is for like next 3 years till we're over this thing right here. Fight out the battle that needs to be fought in the boardrooms, and then resume production of everything.
Well, like that's the thing is when Wonder Woman 2 came out and tanked, and they jumped right to the we're fast tracking Wonder Woman 3 thing, and normally, and we did at that time regard that as they're clearly trying to save this movie's ass. The second one, 84, the Wonder Woman 84, which is probable, and that's why they announced it. But at that point too, I think it was more than that. I think they went into damage control, and this is the same kind of way they've reacted to because Warner Brothers has been nothing but reactionary. And I think their initial reaction, because they knew they couldn't afford to kill Wonder Woman, right? Like they can't, and they know it would be a very bad look to bring in another director. But what they can do is get another Wonder Woman out there quickly, and hopefully it's better than the second one, and people will forget about the second one. Because kind of what they did with the Suicide Squad, right? I feel like that's hopefully what they're, or not hopefully, but I have a feeling that's what they're up to. They're pushing for this thing quickly. We're going to find out that she's not going to be the writer, or at least she's not going to be the only writer you watch. I mean, I'll be surprised if she even still directs it, but I think she will. Rogue Squadron, I think you're right, though, too. I think that's a big we'll see at this point. Anything else?
Yeah, no, that's
Great.
like the big thing there. How excited are you for Kari Skogland taking on Cleopatra instead?
Yeah.
Other than Patty Jenkins, because that to me that's like almost a bigger story, because I always thought that Patty Jenkins and Wonder Woman together taking on Cleopatra, that was a really exciting concept. But now with a woman behind the Falcon and the Winter Soldier doing it instead, what was it that we said about being okay with Rogue Squadron being delayed so it wouldn't be so overtly woke?
Yeah, I think something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this just got the wokest of woke directors.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing, too, is like, shit, I forgot my train of thought there. Oh, well. Anyway. Yeah, it was something about Wonder Woman, and I forgot what I was going to say. Xenobit says in $5 says, after the success of Arcane, you can no longer say there are no good video game adaptations without lying. Well, there have been a few that are already been decent, Xenobit. I think when people say that, it's referring more to the fact that, outside of the exceptions. So I guess Arcane at this point would be one of the exceptions. But hopefully we'll get to a point now that we've had like Sonic and a few others that have been well received that might change, or at least that perception might change. But I get where you're coming from, Xenobit. What do you think, Andre? Mike?
I'll let Andre go first.
Yeah. Here's like the thing. From my point of view, there's plenty good video game adaptations. One of my favorites is Silent Hill. Like, I love the movie Silent Hill, the first one. And I don't care that it's a video adaptation. I just think it's a great freaking horror movie. I'm also a huge fan of Postal. I've never played the game, don't know anything about it, but I think that's a really good movie. And I know it's Uwe Boll. He has made 2 good movies. That's one of them. Plus, let's not forget Sonic the Hedgehog. That was a good one.
Yeah.
I do like the first Resident Evil. I like the recent Mortal Kombat, and I even have a soft spot for Super Mario Brothers. So I would never say that there are no good video game adaptations in the first place. And Arcane, which I'm not familiar with, if that's another one, then brilliant, bring it on.
And I remember now what I was going to say before. How much you guys want to bet Gal Gadot drops out of Cleopatra?
I would not bet on that yet, because that role she's going to be so good in that role. She's going to be so good in it.
If there's any truth to the whole Wonder Woman 3 thing, what if she gets forced into shooting that instead?
That, of course, is an issue.
That's what I'm thinking. Especially when Patty's stepping down, and then that's also a reason for her to step away. But we'll see. That's the thing is that's what we were saying before. Is she's the one who's gotten the brunt of the shit from it.
Yeah, that's actually a really, really good point, because if she has to do... Well, here's like the thing, though, that Patty Jenkins, she would spend a hell of a lot more time on Cleopatra than with the lead actress, whoever it ends up being. For Gal Gadot, Cleopatra is just a 3-month commitment that can be done instantly before or instantly after Wonder Woman. It's the director who can do one or the other. So I wouldn't count Gal Gadot out just yet, but that would be a disaster if she leaves. I mean, just imagine that director, she's going to be like, nah, I think the historic Cleopatra, being Greek, was a little bit too white, so we're going to make her more diverse, and we're going to make everyone that mistakenly believed that she was black or something like that, or Arab, we're going to do one of those things, even if that's a violation against history. That would be my instant worry.
Well, we'll see. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm likely to go with Tom. I see what I think. Tom's perspective is on point. Yours as well, Andre. We just got to wait and see.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I'd be very disappointed if she drops out. Actually,
I don't know who do we replace her with. Seriously,
you don't. You cancel the whole movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, you just get somebody who's more culturally appropriate.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, that is my worry. Someone that's more appropriate.
Oh, you know who'd be the worst pick?
American politics.
You know who'd be
it
the worst?
Shouldn't matter for
It'll be
casting
Zendaya.
someone.
Mark my words.
Zendaya, or
Don't joke about that.
Or it'll be the chick from James Bond, that black chick. What was her name?
Oh, Lashana Lynch. I wasn't thinking that, but I was thinking
one of those two.
Playing Red
But that's also equally likely. Or Sonequa Martin Green or something.
Ooh,
God, no, not Mikey
here's
Spock.
The thing.
Not Mikey Spock,
Honestly,
Andre.
that's not the worst one. But no, I was thinking that chick from Ant-Man and Wasp that's doing Red Sonja.
Yeah, I always forget her name.
I know, me too. But like,
no, but they're not going to go with her because she, by accident,
not know enough. Yeah,
no, she's not going to be she's not going to be cultural enough for their taste.
That too. Yeah. Xenobit also says, if I ran to Galactic Cruise, I'd hire British Rays to yell. Geez, I can't read this morning. At people, let go of my hand so I can feel like I'm in your episode. Episode 7, very immersive. Well, if you're a black man, then they can make you a janitor.
Yeah, exactly. And the soy boy that doesn't get
an elf.
The chick. But yeah, we got that one already.
Oh, we did. I'm sorry, but yeah. Then this is the next one. We got this one. Okay.
Yeah, we got that one.
Then let's just let you do them, and then we'll go from there. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. I'll get into the next one here. Because we got those 2 in a row. Maybe we're starting to get caught up here.
We know, Sander. We were just talking about modern Hollywood takes. So hopefully you're not upset with us bringing that up. It's not.
No, he's not. But that's what I'm saying. That she was Macedonian, which is like the today would be Greek, basically. And let's see, we got that one. Yeah, I think we're starting to get.
Well, while you're looking, we got this from Tennille is actually topical and funny. Wait, Gal Gadot is Cleopatra? I mean, I'm happy to be surprised, but it's almost sounded like Skeet Ulrich playing JFK when I first heard it.
No, but she's actually really well cast.
Not horribly cast. Yeah, I thought it was all right.
Yeah. And then we got that one. Yeah.
I know it's kind of stretching, but she's
close enough.
Yeah, I hate saying it that way because it does sound a little wrong, but it is true. I think it's the nitpicky bullshit gets to be a little too.
She is someone that could pass for the ethnicity of the historical Cleopatra.
See, and that's the thing that I know. I understand the debate on though. So like coming from like Paulie's perspective and things like that, we've talked about it with like La Bamba, but he also knows like. We've talked about it. Like at that time, there was no other actor that, was perfect for the part other than Lou Diamond Phillips. It didn't matter that he wasn't Latino or the same ethnic, background. It just mattered that he played the part well. And that's all that mattered. But nowadays we've talked about it. Like, yeah, that would never happen now. They would never cast Lou Diamond Phillips to play Richie Valens. It just wouldn't happen. But anyway, moving on. Waddle D's Nuts. I love that name. says, how would you feel that if in Shang-Chi the 10 rings were cock rings, and when Wu controlled them by twirling his around, swish and flick? I'd actually watch that movie because it'd be hilarious.
I'd watch the Robot Chicken parody with just that.
Well, that's kind of what it would be anyway, basically. It's like a Robot Chicken parody, so...
And then Melvin Belliard said for $5, good afternoon, gentlemen. Consider the other reason they would cast Seth Rogen as the Thing is that the character is Jewish.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, this is true. And then he follows that up with, because Marvel has a thing of casting someone who matches the character to a T instead of hiring an actor or actress who is right for the part. Well, I think that there's going to be other things, but yeah, that's maybe one of the things that they're looking for, but that's going to be one in a long checklist.
I hope that was just a troll leak, like somebody just trying to get a rise out of people because he was, in the news at the time. Or did you hear this like a while ago?
No, I read this like last week.
Oh, okay. So it was before he started his shit. Interesting.
Yeah. It was before. Yeah, it was last week. Yeah. And then Drew with Comics Elite says, meeting Garth Ennis this weekend. No big deal. Oh my God.
No big deal. Whatever.
Well, that would be a big deal to me. But yeah. No, Garth Ennis, he's one of my all-time favorite comic book creators and writers. And I would so love for him to sign a couple of Punisher comics for me, as Preacher was.
There you go.
Not Judge Dredd.
Speaking of Seth Rogen, how did you feel about what he did to Preacher?
Here's like the irony. That's when I stopped liking Seth Rogen. No, I'm serious. Like I really liked him up until then. I've liked everything that he has done up until The Preacher. And I was like so stupid that I thought that when he was announced for Preacher, which is one of the best things that Garth Ennis ever did. For those that haven't read it, you really should read the complete Garth Ennis Preacher. It is unbelievable. And when Seth Rogen was announced for it as one of the showrunners, I was like thinking, oh, wow, this is actually a really good fit. It's on TV. It has Seth Rogen, and he is not going to be shy about the violence. He's not going to be shy about the nudity. He's not going to be shy about the religious aspects to it. So to me, on paper at the time, he seemed like a great fit. And then when I saw what he actually did, I remember the moment that I realized that, oh my God, they messed this up. You know when that was? It was literally the first second on screen. It was the first freaking second when you have like a shot of the universe and you see like it's planets and stuff and like this fireball coming through, and just the special effects of how this was done. And it was done intentionally. I could tell right away in that moment that, oh no, he messed it up. There is no way that someone with serious intention for this series could ever include a shot like that in this. So in that moment of that one shot, if you just go and you see the first episode of the Preacher, the first 10 seconds, and you'll know exactly what I mean. There was no way someone who was going to do this justice would have included that shot. And the more I saw of it, the worse it got. I suffered through the first season. I haven't seen any more of it. I know it's a 4-season series, and I can't watch the rest. It was that bad. It was that painful. It was painful to watch. Like, I suffered that season. I don't want to suffer through anything that has Garth and his name on it, but really, most of the adaptations based on his work, they kind of suck, which is a shame. But yeah, that was disaster. But anyway, Drew, you're lucky to meet him, and I envy you.
Sorry, I had to do it.
I'd love to meet him and have him sign some stuff.
Pilgrimania says, where is M&E Film Studio? I think it means Midnight's Edge Film Studios. Oh, you never know.
Give it time. Give it time. And William Jones says, Hail Andre, I'm still waiting for my Bob Chapek 4D chess shirt. My wallet is open and waiting.
Well, I guess maybe we have to talk to Douglas, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see what Douglas can come up with. Then we have Melvin Belliot, who says the actress who plays Echo on Hawkeye is not only Native American, but is also deaf. Jeremy Renner and Haley both talked about learning ASL to communicate with her.
Oh, really? She is actually deaf? Well, that's cool. I didn't know.
Yeah, just like the one in King Kong.
Okay.
Or in King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's
no, because these days you can't hire an actor to play.
Oh, yeah, I figured.
To play someone with a disability without the actor actually having that disability, which I guess is fine, because otherwise, it's not going to be limited opportunities for a deaf actor. And then your Muslim uncle says, breaking news: Tom is a Rossacist because he doesn't like tokenized characters. Breaking news.
I know it is breaking news.
I don't know if that's true because he likes Mexican.
I just got called a racist like 20 times in the last 5 seconds. So,
is that top of the first 400 times from this weekend?
No, yeah, like literally. I'm sure I'm not even exaggerating or being hyperbolic. I'm sure I've been called a racist at least.
Oh my God, I have
half a dozen times.
Twitter updates from your feed.
Exactly my point.
Holy
dude. It's been off the
shiznet. 79 updates. Oh my God. Sorry, Andre.
Yeah, no, that's all right. That's what I don't like about Twitter. I'm like, most people would get all their friends and fellow bots in. Xenobit says, Seth Rogen should play the mutant, the Blob. I'm sure there's some other arrogant characters he can play there as well. And Big Daddy MRI says for $49.99. Wow, thank you. It's partly heavily weighed towards minimal risk, but Hollywood was built with huge risk. It means to make great profits. A studio must take the monetary risk, a gamble, so it must be a good movie. And Hollywood or film production is an investment, and like every other kind of investment, there is risk associated with it. On some projects, you're not going to get your money back again, which is why, in order to be in that venture at all, you have to get many times your investment back on others for the whole thing to overall make sense. Yeah, it is indeed a weighted risk. Then we have Paulus Plain, my fellow countryman, who says, the next level of wokeness, the blind, straight, white man daredevil is not good enough. He must be a deaf dare angel, Latinx, she, her, they, them. The wokeness must flow. Yeah, that's a risk. That's what people are worried about, isn't it? That is, but I don't think we'll be seeing exactly that, though. But you never know.
Hope not.
Then we had, we got that one. I think we're starting to get caught up here. And EVA Unit 4A says, please verify, did Netflix go to court to leave STD and Secret Hideout before Season 3 was shot? Or did that not happen? Get woke, go broke. Well, as far as we have been told, they went into arbitration, which is Hollywood court. So not like the open court that you and I can access, but the behind the closed doors court. And this is what we actually have a video on this that is being written right now. And if you go back to our earlier reporting, that's what we said right there. We said this 1.5 years ago, that we had learned from our sources that Netflix, they had, as of Season 3, lived up to their obligations. They had won out in arbitration because Secret Hideout wanted them to continue funding many more seasons. And arbitration just evidently sided with, no, Netflix have done everything right, and they now can leave their contract, meaning they didn't have to pay anything for season 4, which is why indeed that is not distributed by Netflix, and why season 3 ended on what seemed like a series finale, because at the time they weren't sure if they were going to be able to make a season 4. That's what we heard, and the fact that Discovery is no longer on Netflix, like any of it, the entire series is gone, bears that out. Anything to add to that?
Nope.
No, I think you nailed it.
Yeah. And with that, Warwolf says for $5, as someone with multiple disabilities, I find it offensive that Hollywood thinks actors have to match a character. It's called acting for a reason. Oh, well, thank you, Warwolf. That is something that means more coming from someone that's in a position to have an opinion about it. Like, of course, we can't say that it's all about acting, but it's not going to mean the same coming from any of us. But if you say it, that carries more weight. So thanks for the input and thanks for the support. And with that, we are actually fully caught up. So with that, I think I would.
One?
Yeah, we got that one.
Okay.
We got that one. Yeah.
All right. I wasn't sure I forgot that one. Right.
If anyone thinks we have forgotten a super chat, let us know now, because we don't want to leave anyone behind. But I think we got every single one that there
I got
has
one
been today.
thing for you before we go. Let's see here. I want you to tell me who this is.
There is a hint in Hawkeye.
Damn it! I already said the
about
name.
Potential, Kingpin rumors. There's rumors about Netflix.
What the
Marvel
fuck did
characters.
Amy do to
Is
her
there anything
hair?
You can say and what?
Well, that's Amy Pascal.
I always say that whenever a character comes back into the Marvel sandbox, it becomes another tool
Yes, it is.
in the storytelling ability of the MCU.
Amy's tweaking,
and
she totally
as I said
is.
before, the good news is all will be revealed when people actually.
Why does she have such a big Adam's
We make
apple?
these things for people to watch them and enjoy, not to
answer
give them
that.
away beforehand. But
Well, look at her
all of
teeth.
that
Someone's
is
been
coming up
baking in the kitchen.
in the next few weeks, one way or another. People will know what's true and what's not true.
There
From
is
a
a
distance,
hint
I thought that was
in
Zendaya.
Hawkeye, Kevin, about potential,
was going with
Kingpin
Carrot
rumors.
Top.
There's rumors about Netflix, Marvel characters. Is there anything
what's
you can
funny?
say
What
and what
Lorena
you're
said?
considering in terms of those
Lorena
characters?
goes, "Who's that Muppet next to Kevin Feige?"
What did Colin Kaepernick do to her hair?
Well, let's not laugh at people. Like,
Oh my god, no! I'm glad.
Andre, she's tweaking, bro. Andre, does that look like a
Straight.
serious business person having a serious discussion, brother?
okay, no, listen. I've read her emails, and that's not a serious business person. That's someone with issues. And
really?
And there, oh yeah. Okay,
Well, I'm actually being serious. Like, I haven't read these emails that you're talking about. Are you serious?
Dude,
Like,
I'm serious. Dude, go back and watch our first major epic Ghostbusters video. We screenshot them. Like, she writes like a 6-year-old.
oh no.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
don't
yeah.
know how she ever
totally
got
does.
this far. And I don't like everywhere I turn, her name comes up, and it's like, how the fuck did this woman get where she? Well, never mind. I'm not going to answer that. Anyhow.
No, like her emails, when you just scroll through them, she comes across as a complete incompetent, as someone that there's like some kind of arrested development issue, and it's especially the emails where she had like the meltdown when she was like going nuts because so many projects were collapsing, and she in desperation wanted to do a Barbie versus He-Man. And like one of the guys that ultimately did the Lego movie had to calmly explain to her that was actually a really bad idea, and that both of those have potentials in their own right. So yeah. And she uses no punctuation. Everything is written in capital letters, and the most simple sentences there is.
She's racist as hell too. But
Oh
anyway,
yeah,
Eva Unit 4A says, I went through all the ME content and couldn't find the litigation videos. That's why I asked. I heard it, but I couldn't find references.
did you? Okay, here's like the thing. Go to the playlist. Go to the Star Trek playlist.
Well, there might be another reason
because there are some videos that we, for algorithmic purposes, unlisted. So that means that if you just go through the videos, you're not going to see everything. Go into the Star Trek playlist, and then you want to look through the videos that were released in early 2020, late 2019, early 2020s, the ones that deal with the possibilities of Star Trek Discovery being done after season 3. That's where we have it. That's where we talk about the arbitration. They're there. I know, because I've been looking into them to write a new one.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the other thing is we've been a lot more sporadic with the Star Trek reporting over the last
There hasn't been much to record.
Yeah, it's been
Star
kind
Trek.
of dead in the water, and it's pretty much. I wouldn't say they necessarily confirmed, but it really supports what we reported when they came out last. With all this business about Star Trek not being on Netflix and stuff, which we told everybody that was what's going to happen. And going back to one of the earlier questions, no, I think they lost the money before the season started. I think they were well aware of it, but they didn't have anybody pick it up, and that's why they didn't announce it until the last goddamn minute because nobody else had picked it up.
They were hoping that's exactly right. They only learned, like, they released the information that it wouldn't be on Netflix in the very last moment. Remember that on Picard, it was only a few weeks into production that they announced that Amazon had come to pick up the bill. They announced at the moment that Amazon were on board, that this was going to be on Amazon. They didn't announce that Netflix weren't on board, although that was the case. They never were on board with Picard. They announced at the moment they had someone else. On Discovery Season 4, they never found someone else. And when it was about to be released in the US, they had no choice but to admit to the world and try to spin it as, oh, we reclaimed it. And that sucks for you guys international because you can't see it now. Of course, reality was that Netflix just kicked them to the curb. And they did that long time ago. They just sat on the information while they desperately were trying to find someone else. And they were never able to.
There you go.
Yeah.
And
also, Warwolf says Barbie versus He-Man. How the hell would that work? Okay, for those that want more details on that, and also on the general talent of Amy Pascal, because this goes back to her. Go back to our classic videos. I believe you'll find it in the mini documentaries playlist. I think it's there. If not, you'll find it if you just go to videos, you search on the channel, find the Barbie video. In it is where we detail the story of He-Man versus Barbie. That's actually one of the older videos that I edited myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to see what it looks like when I edit a video and not Tom, check out that one. That's a video that I both wrote and edited. So yeah, good times. Find out the Barbie video. There you have the full story, plus some commentary on Amy Pascal's spelling and punctuation.
Oddly enough,
on that note, yeah.
I was just going to say the first and last time I really remember us going through the emails, or at least first time for me and one of the last for you, was the first video I actually properly edited, and that was the Popeye video. And sadly, we had to tell everybody the truth. The Emoji Movie had nothing to do with the other, even though that was kind of the popular thing.
Popular misconception. But when there are some, we are quick to debunk those too.
I think we did a great job on that video, I thought.
Yeah.
Xenobit says, you don't need to use proper punctuation or worry about things being spelt wrong.
Now, if you only had written that in all caps, that's something that Amy Pascal could have written.
You know what's weird, though, is I can almost do this in your accent. You don't need to use proper punctuation or worry about things being spelt wrong.
That was a great Doomcock doing Andre
It was.
imitation.
Yeah. That's what's
Yeah.
happening. Is his imitation is bleeding into mine, and I hate that because I thought mine was pretty good before. So.
Yeah, yeah, bro. You're bleeding out.
Luca, thank you so much. Luca Rock says, thanks for covering Tremors, Tom. Just got the 4K today. Awesome. Thanks for mentioning it on your other show. Yeah, we've been loving that script, and we've been having a lot of fun trying to come up with movies that we're going to cover on it. And it's just fun to talk about for an hour. Not, we constantly get accused of hating on shit, which, the truth is we don't hate on shit, but people just don't watch the videos where we're usually being positive. For instance, like a lot of our Cobra Kai coverage, but no, I'm glad you got it. And that just reminds me again, Andre and Mike, we got to get that damn Amazon link up.
Yeah.
Drew with Comics Elite says, Andre, Tom, if you guys want anything signed at C2E2, let me know. I'll be on the High Council Tuesday night with your buddy Jeff promoting my comic. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, everyone to go check out his comic. And I would love to, but it's too late to have my comics sent to you at this time. So let me know earlier next time. But thanks for the offer. And EVA Unit 4A says for $2. Looking now, still can't find it. Link or title. Okay, well, give me 1 second here because I have
We'll link it in
here.
the chat for you.
Yeah, I'll link it in the chat. Just give me 1 second, and I'll link it to you.
So I think we're all caught up now, if I'm not mistaken. While you're looking for that, I'm going to double check.
Yeah, just make sure that we're fully up to date, and I'll find the link to one of the videos where we talk about what's going on there.
I think we're good.
From the time.
Yeah, I think we're good. Pretty sure. Yep. So thank you so much, guys, for all your generosity today and for hanging in there. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Yeah, Natasha, that was... I know, now I can't do the old way anymore. I've heard him do it too many times.
Yeah, that's like the irony. You hear me all the time, but...
Oh, yeah, I used to be able to do it pretty spot on. Shit. One question, how is it not connected to the Emoji movie and Popeye movie was because both from Sony and Hotel Transfer? Oh, because they dumped the Popeye movie before the Emoji movie was even a thing. That's why. That's the short version anyway, Victor. Basically we had the emails, and they just said they did some tests and they didn't feel like Popeye was popular enough to go forward with it, and that predated any talk of the Emoji movie. So that's pretty much the short version. It's really just that simple. Like, one had nothing to do with the other. So yeah. Did you find it, Andre?
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now.
Okay.
I think I might have. Let's see here. I just have to make sure I find the right video. Let's see here. Yes, I found it.
Awesome.
I found it here.
Go ahead and share that link in the chat. And with that, I want to thank everybody for being here today. I want to thank Culture Casino for joining us earlier. Do check out his channel, of course. You can always find other information down in the link below. Mike also has his own channel, but you can find him roaming around with us on Meet and everywhere else as well. But do check out his channel as well. Don't forget to check out the live archive. That's where you can find all these morning shows and our live streams archived for all your viewing pleasure. With that, anything you want to say before we go, Andre?
Yeah, check out Toxic Femininity later tonight.
I forgot it's Monday already.
Yeah.
We got Toxic Femininity tonight, and I'm sure we'll talk about some of these topics and maybe some other stuff. Who knows what the ladies will have for you. And with that, I think we're going to call upon some wet koalas.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given, koala.